Streaming. We should be going live on the channel shortly. I just want to confirm that, given that the XSplit was being a little weird.
Flux capacitor fluxing.
Yes. I'm not sure it's working because it says streaming live here, but my Twitch. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's going. All right, good. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Just, the harsh winter wind is not quite as immediately evocative as the thunderclap. I don't think, but I figure it's okay. It gets us where we need to be. I'm Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master, and tonight we're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
So tonight we are continuing our play of the new module, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, and our players tonight: Lee Burdett as Iggy,
Hello.
David Archambault as Wilfred,
Hi.
Nobilis Reed as Marcher Northwind,
Greetings.
James Silverstein as Docksrider Nothing,
Hey.
and Paul Weimer as Aule.
Winter isn't coming. Winter is here.
Yes. And in fact, it's overstayed its welcome. So we also have Jason Banks as Rowan, but unfortunately he is running a little bit late, so hopefully he will be joining us in a bit. But in the meantime, we will recap last week's adventure.
Adventurous, is that what it was?
I thought it was last week's failure.
Last week's cluster.
No, it's a learning experience.
That's right.
Yeah, so before all of that happened, we did begin with meeting our three new adventurers, Aule, Wilfred, and Rowan, as they made the trek from the 10 trails to the south through the Spine of the World Mountains, fighting the newly permanent blizzard that seems to be on that pass, struggling through it, almost getting lost, some exciting adventures there before finally making their way down into Bryn Shander, the largest of the 10 towns. Let's see, I can pull up the appropriate map. So Bryn Shander is the largest of the 10 towns, and after making their way to the North Look Inn, they started looking around to see who might have work or rumors or ideas for something that some adventurers could get up to. And they met Hlyn Trollsbane, who was a dwarf woman who told them all about a man named Sefik, who she believed is a serial killer, killing people with ice daggers to the heart. And her theory was that perhaps he was somehow doing the work of the Frostmaiden by killing people who were trying to, cheat their way out of the offerings to the Frostmaiden that some of these cities participate in. Now, her only basis for that theory was that the murders have only happened in the 3 cities where they do offer humanoid sacrifices to the Frostmaiden every new moon. She was pretty confident that she had the right person, but the last time she had approached, she got made as someone who was paying attention and felt that she wouldn't be able to take this guy on her own. So she decided to hire some adventurers to take him out for her. And the 3 agreed, at least in principle, to at least check this guy out and see, if this guy might actually be a serial killer. So they made their way to the city of East Haven, where coincidentally our other three adventurers were returning from their battle with the harpies. Everyone joined together at the White Lady Inn just in time to participate in a séance held by a local halfling named Ronaldo, whereupon he channeled, apparently, the ghost known as the White Lady, who is sometimes seen walking the surface of the lake. And she gave you answered some questions from beyond, and seemed a little hostile when you asked questions that she didn't care for, but she gave you some information that you have no reason to disbelieve. But you also discovered that the trading caravan where this man named Sefik was, a part of, was currently in town. And so you collectively went over to check this guy out, to investigate him, and Aule's divine sense determined that not only was this guy obviously a tough, kind of shady, also mysteriously does not get bothered by the cold at all. He's walking around in shirt sleeves, even though it is minus 40. But he's also undead. So that seems like, yeah, something going on there. Unfortunately, it turned out that attempting to confront his employer, Torga, didn't go like y'all hoped.
Didn't go like the person who initiated the contact hoped.
Yeah. So, in any event, it turned to combat when some accusatory questions were greeted with hostility. And unfortunately, you all were unprepared to take on the entire crew. And you had three of you knocked unconscious before Torga and Sefik shouted out that they would let you retreat if you left them alone. And so you agreed to those terms, withdrew, and watched as the trading caravan packed up. There were some initial discussions with some of the militia soldiers that appeared on the scene that they explained to the militia that we don't know. We were just operating our business, and these adventurer types just came and attacked us out of nowhere. And, I don't know if you all were eager to try to talk to the militia, or you were kind of willing to sort of slink off to lick your wounds a little bit.
I don't know if my character was even conscious to
Well,
talk.
three of you weren't, yeah.
Yes. So,
I think you would have been probably questioned at least. But at the same time, questioned in the way of you have someone who is not a police officer. They're really more of a, if there's trouble, go get more guys and we'll solve the trouble. That sort of militia.
yeah. Marcher definitely wants to have a talk with the people who got chopped down like wheat before a scythe. And so I have the idea that he doesn't have proficiency in medicine, but he does have a positive score in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this image of a scene where their wounds are bandaged and they're in a room somewhere in the inn, and
yeah. So let's just go ahead and assume that everyone has withdrawn to the inn. You, when you were approached by the militia, you basically said, if you have any questions, we're staying at the White Lady Inn.
Yeah.
We will talk to you, but we need to get our friends somewhere where they can recover first.
Yeah. And besides, the ones who started the fight are the ones who are currently unconscious. So
yeah, so you are allowed to do that because their primary concern, which was the active fighting, is resolved now. Because from their perspective, whoever started it, it stopped with no one dead and both parties ceasing hostilities on their own. So, on that basis, at least those first couple of militia people that show up are kind of inclined to think that there's no longer a problem.
Legit.
So, they basically say, if we have questions for you, we'll come and talk to you. The captain might want to talk to you. She's busy right now, but if you're gonna stay in town a while, we do want to know more about what's going on.
That too is legit.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and move ourselves forward a little bit. It's been a couple of hours. I think everybody has returned to consciousness, with the exception, let's say, of Rowan, who, for the sake of a missing player, is taking a little bit longer to recover. He is fine. He's healing. He's not going to die. He's just...
He rolled over and went to sleep.
Yeah. I'm not misremembering, right? It was him and Aule and Iggy that went down, or am I misremembering?
I thought Rowan was able to keep distance.
Yeah, you're right. I
Rowan
think he
kept
did.
distance.
Yeah, you're right. So he, I think, is just being taciturn. Then I think. We'll have to, if we want to role play the conversation about, tactics, that perhaps we'll just need to wait until Rowan is feeling more communicative.
Well, the tactics of the fight is not as important as the reason it started. And that was because you have no tact. And if I am going to lend my strength to this endeavor, we need to talk about how you deal with strangers.
So who are you talking
Yeah.
about now? Who are you talking to? Because I was kind of just saying that because we don't have Jason here, any discussion with Rowan might need to wait.
Yeah, well,
I think the Goliath's looking at the paladin. Actually.
Well, I mean,
he's looking at the paladin. He's
Okay.
also, who was it that made the accusation of? There was that discovery that he was undead, but then someone else brought that information over to.
Well, so Wilfred kind of started, but didn't really make it a confrontation. It was definitely Rowan that eventually then did say, "Do you know that your bodyguard is an undead and he's murdering people?"
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay.
that was
So
Rowan.
that's Rowan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wilfred basically let Seth know that, hey, we have an idea what you are and what you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then basically,
Wilfred is also someone that Marcher wants to talk to, and it's like, if you are going to start a fight with someone, okay, let me put it in terms that I would understand. If I go out to hunt an elk, a big elk, an elk with antlers, an elk with thick hide, I do not walk up to him first and say, "You are big elk. I am going to kill you." He's going to run me down and stump me into the snow. What I do is I follow him, I watch him, I learn where he has his den, I learn where he finds his food, and determine when is the proper time. And then me and 6 of my buddies who I am talking with about when is the good time, we all jump out of the snow at the same time and shoot arrows at him before he has a chance to charge at us. I I I don't know what you were thinking.
When Rowan made the accusation and swords were drawn, I thought my first duty was to protect the rest of the party, which is why I went racing up to the undead and was cut down like wheat.
Yes.
And I was just curious about if well, I mean, undead. You hear about them being terrors and causing chaos and people running or attacking, and it's like, and he was just standing there. Everybody was treating him like a human. So I asked
Yes.
questions,
And
and
there are stories about Goliaths, about how we are these hulking brutes from out in the wilderness who, when we, when you know, if you fall in with them, they will break your bones and eat your brains. That doesn't mean that that I am to be feared the same way.
no, I mean, like, if I grew up hearing stories like that and met you, I would go and say, "Hello, you seem you seem friendlier than the stories tell me." I mean, I I was trying to find truth,
And
and I did walk away before swords were drawn.
right, hmm.
So I'm going to just suggest as DM that we're missing one of the players that would have opinions
Yeah.
on this conversation. So I'm going to suggest that
Yeah.
we hand wave a little bit.
Okay,
That
well, Marcher at this point is completely frustrated. Everybody has survived the night, and that's what he wanted to make sure of. And so now he basically puts his puts his coat on, and heads out to cool off.
well, so I think too that what we
Rather
know.
than continue this conversation.
I think too that what we know that Jason would say as Rowan is that his logic was that it made no sense that Torga would know that her employee was an undead, and that if she knew, she wouldn't be okay with it, and that's why he told her that. But her reaction was the opposite of what he expected. Now, provoking a confrontation in that way is one thing, but it's not like he just charged in with his sword drawn. He was only talking until they drew their weapons.
Well, we all survived it.
Yeah.
We all learned from it. And that's how you move on.
I
Yeah.
have much praying to do.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna have to talk to the authorities about this.
They know where to
If we
find us.
do, let me start the conversation. Because when you guys talk, people fight us.
Okay.
You have to have a fist thrown my way, but if you want to do the talking, that's completely up to you, sir.
At the risk of just playing Jason's character for him, I think he might say, for someone who is only even assuming that this guy has done anything wrong on our say-so, we thought that our source was a little bit shady, and we wanted to find out more about this guy and whether or not he actually is this killer before just killing him. And so we were trying to get more information.
That's true.
There are other ways we could have done that. Better ways. Once I established what he was, we should have withdrawn immediately to come up with a better plan.
And out of character, basically, it's like one of the reasons why Wilfred went up and started asking questions was it's like there are people going like, but what if, and back and forth, and it's like they're going round and round in circles and not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So Wilfred just walked up.
The real question is what, aside from talking possibly with the authorities again, what is our next course of action if we are still committed as a functional unit?
Well, we have several things we could could go after. I think that it would be difficult to do anything further with this caravan guard, at least for the time being. So we have other things to investigate. There is this lantern for detecting and perhaps talking to a forest spirit. There is the big moose harassing travelers in Lonelywood. And there's evidently this mud Thistlebone's cauldron in the cliffs where the knucklebones were, the knuckleheads had died. And we can investigate that.
I think
With
that
more of us,
I think
we
that
might be able to prevail over the dangers there.
Possibly.
Personally, I am in the mood for a nice walk in the woods with a lantern and perhaps talking to a fairy.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very nice way to spend the day after the last couple days.
James, you were trying to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying that I think the cauldron's a little bit out of our league at the moment.
Well, I'm at the risk of metagaming. That was a. I'm not sure why you would think that. It was out of your league when you had 3 level 1 people, and now you have 6 level 2 people.
Yeah. But
Well, yeah, I agree. Let's see if we can.
It's also the
Find
one
the
that you
chewing gum.
already agreed to do and left half done.
Yep.
yes.
I'm
So let's see if we can find the
I
Chavinga.
mean, you don't have to do it. You do not have to do it. I'm just saying, don't do it because out of character you think it's too hard. Don't do it. Like, don't not do it for that reason.
I was thinking that we would just have the lantern with us and just be on the lookout for it while we do other things. But
Yeah.
I am. But if there is a good place to look for these things, then maybe we should just do that and get that done.
The lady that gave us the lantern.
Danica Grace.
Yeah. She
Oh.
didn't have a specific location. That was why I thought if we headed to Lonelywood, we can, check the path over there, and even if we go cross country, maybe we would have better luck than following the roads. I don't know.
Well, going cross country, you're going to want someone who really knows how to travel. The roads are bad enough as is, but going through the woods, that's taking your life in your own hands.
Well,
I'm not
Rowan
saying
would
I'm
point out
against
that
it.
is literally what he does.
Yeah.
And Marcher is also not unskilled in that area.
Yeah.
So let us put it to a vote. The caves or the woods?
I personally like things that are on a moose, even a big white moose. It's a more understandable enemy. I think the moose would be a better choice.
One for the woods.
Yeah.
The fact
Moose.
The fact of the matter is that even though we did say we were going to go look after the knuckleheads, we've already found out that they're dead. They're not
Yep.
going to get more dead the longer we wait. So I'm all for the moose for now. But we should go back to the cave at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, we found out of their fate in a séance. So
Yeah.
there is that, but I'm willing to. I mean, it's been quite a while. I don't think we're going to find them alive.
Well, I'm kind of interested in these caves. I mean, the
Oh,
oh,
yeah, we will get to the caves eventually, but
But
the
I
moose
but
first, I
but
think.
yeah, I think we have a majority for the woods. So let us go. We will go to the caves, but I think we are for the moment going to the woods to meet a moose and hopefully one of these spirits as well.
Yes, I think that is a good two birds one stone situation.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. And it did come with a paycheck attached. So,
Yes.
So no matter what Rowan would have just voted, we win 4-2.
So let me just describe what we're talking about here, though, because certainly all of you would know that. This is not woods that are just outside of town. This is going from here, East Haven, to here, Lonelywood, which is probably several days' journey.
That's quite a trek.
yeah, that I mean, maybe if we could like do some exploration on the out on the edge of East Haven, like just outside of there. See if maybe there might be something more.
no, the outside of East Haven has already been checked.
Well, I mean, or maybe outside of Goodmead, if we're looking for woods.
I mean, you're not looking for
Or
woods.
the-
This
I
white
mean,
moose was seen near
In
Lonelywood.
Lonelywood.
So it's not woods, it is
Yeah.
this place specifically.
Well,
Right.
I'm thinking like for the spirits.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for the
Well, that she doesn't have information that says it should be woods. It's their nature spirits. They would be somewhere. You know, that's not necessarily a woods or not woods thing.
Two woods or not two woods?
That is the question.
uh, the I
Yeah. So I mean, you guys can do anything you want here. So the from East Haven to back to Bryn Shander is 7.5 hours travel time. And then from there to Targos would be another 2 hours. And then from Targos to Tourmaline is 4 hours. And then from Tourmaline to Lonelywood is like another hour, I think.
okay, so
Another 2
two
hours.
days travel.
Yeah.
2 days travel.
Yeah.
And I will
That's
tell
not
you-
bad.
And I'll
That's-
tell you that if we end up stopping in Targos, I can put us all up for the evening.
So, it's a long hike to get to Targos, but
We start
that
early.
would give us.
We
And
don't
I think
we don't linger
you know
in the-
something after what has happened at the with this caravan. I think it's probably a good idea to get out of town for a while. Let
perhaps
this
if
blow
we
over a
do,
little.
though, if we do go out of town and run into that caravan, maybe we should avoid contacting them.
Well, I
Oh, yeah.
definitely suggest that.
Well, I think they were packing up and leaving yesterday, so I doubt we will encounter them, especially if they're moving at any's pace. So,
Well,
but
it's-
if we should happen to come across them, yes, we're probably good to give them a wide berth.
So are you
But
guys
then, how would you
assuming-
know to look at them? So,
You're all assuming that? So bear in mind, you went and confronted the caravan at like 10 a.m. So
Man.
my assumption was not that it was all the way until the next morning already, but
oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
All
my
right.
assumption was
So-
that it
so
had
what-
been a few hours, enough for those who had been unconscious to recover. You could take a long rest, I guess. It's technically you normally wouldn't do that without letting enough time elapse. But I think I can make an exception here. But depending on what you want to do, like because if you're saying you have been hanging out all the way until the next morning, I would have had someone come talk to you by then. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, as long as I can get a short rest in, then I'll be fine. But because I've got, now that we're level 2, I've got another hit dice I can spend to get my
Yeah, I mean,
HP up.
everyone would certainly have had time to do a short rest. My assumption is that it has been a few hours where you're mostly just hanging out at the inn.
Okay.
And I mean, you can hang out until the next morning. Like, there's no reason not to do that. I'm just saying that if we're talking about that much time, someone would have come to see you.
I think hanging out till the next morning is a fine idea. I mean,
Okay.
if we're gonna head out, we're gonna want to head out early.
Well, I mean, there's also the matter that what constitutes a morning, right? So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, it's
it's,
on you to decide. You don't
it's
know a special
we
reason
have-
you have to maintain the normal daylight hours.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
We
10
have
a.m. to
we
2
have 3
p.m. is
times
really
of day. We have
yeah.
dawn. We have dawn. We have dusk, and then the rest is nighttime. So,
Yeah.
I personally, I think we should leave as early as we can. And if you guys are really need a long rest, that's fine. I don't.
Yeah, I can make it without one since I got a short rest in.
Yeah.
But I will definitely need a long rest once we get to Targos.
Well,
I'm
Bryn
okay.
Shander would be the first stop.
Yeah. Well, but if
Well,
we push on for
we
another
were
2
talking-
hours,
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you do travel time for more than 8 hours, you start entering forced march.
Oh, right. And that's a bad thing here.
Yeah.
Well, it just potentially means you risk some exhaustion.
Yeah. But not a crippling amount with only that much travel. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm willing to risk it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm okay to head out now.
is there a reason we're in such a hurry? Is there a reason we're saying that rest isn't good for us?
Because we don't want too much attention from people here.
I think it's foolish.
Right.
Okay.
No one has come to talk to you yet, but they did imply someone would.
But I'm willing to head out if everyone else feels that it's important to.
I don't think it's that important.
no.
I mean, perhaps maybe we should go and find somebody to talk to so we can, so we're not seen as fleeing.
Well, that's why we're not leaving at this moment. To allow the authorities to have a chance to come to us.
I mean, like if we're going to, if we're wanting to go somewhere else, at least be seen trying to find someone to talk to, and if we don't find anybody, then it's at least we tried.
I think given the given the situation and the fact that we want to be allowed to come back without, well, you said you were going to be there, but you weren't. It'll make coming back to this place more uncomfortable. I think one uncomfortable conversation.
Well, why don't we wait for them to come here, because that's what we said would happen.
Yeah.
Well, let's rest until then, and then
Yeah.
and then based on this, on what that conversation looks like, we can make decisions.
Yes.
So is
So I
everyone-
think that's what we're doing.
All right. So I think at some point, in more like in the early evening, it would probably the sun would have stopped peaking, and it's gotten dark again. But somewhere in it's not too late. It's like maybe 5 p.m. somewhere in that neighborhood. You're all would have had a short rest for sure. Um,
Mhm.
but then a militia member does come to the inn and say they come in, they're all bundled up, and they just say that Captain Argaloth would like to talk to you at the town hall if you're able to come.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. We'll go.
All right,
We go.
all right. So unless you all were planning, you know what? Why not? I was just gonna say I didn't know if we needed to go to the map, but sure, why not? We've got a map for the town hall. Why not? All right, so we have we just need Ale and Wilfred on there. So I think you all are you're all brought into the same sort of little admin area that those of you who had previously come here um, met with the speaker here. Um, and I don't have a specific token for Captain Imdra Argaloth. She is a dwarf. Some of you spoke with her briefly.
There she is.
Huh?
Oh no, I was just looking for my token on here.
Oh, yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure there's not. Yeah, there's definitely not a token for her. But yeah, so as you are hanging out there, she approaches and, or rather, she's waiting in there for you, and she just does say, "Thanks all of you for coming out in the cold. I know you were probably recuperating. Are all of you all right?"
We'll be able with a bit of rest.
For the three newcomers, she introduces herself as Captain Imdra Argaloth, the head of the town militia. Did I say before she's half elf? Um, she looks really like exhausted, like she's got like some like bags under her eyes, like she's just been very hard at work, and she just says, so, I talked to three of you earlier, and I was planning to see if you all needed any adventuring work, but kind of a lot's been going on, and it seems like you found some trouble to get into all by yourselves. You want to tell me what happened?
I will look at the Goliath.
Yeah.
Here is the short version. My companions, while they were in
Brinchander.
Brenshander, heard a rumor that there was someone committing murders with weapons made out of ice, and that this had happened in 3 different places, 3
As soon
different
as you,
towns.
as soon as you say that, she's like made out of ice, like
Yes.
like a dagger made out of ice.
Yes.
Yes, this is the story that they were told. A dagger made out of ice, and that this person suspected that a member of this particular caravan was the one behind these murders because they happened in these 3 very different places when that caravan was in town. And they said, hey, we will look into this because serial murders, not a good thing. And so they told us, and I point
Her
to the other
expression
members of
is
the group,
becoming more and more grim as this story goes on, by the way.
and we went together to the caravan to see what we could learn. And my friend here, the paladin, whose holy insight allows him to recognize undead when he sees them. Noticed that a member of the caravan was undead. The fellow who walks around with with no coat. Uh, Now, there are lots of reasons that one might be able to go about with no coats. I happen to also have that power, but he also came to be known as an undead. And in a burst of irrational enthusiasm, one of my friends said something incautious to the leader of the caravan, and they started to make for their weapons. Um, the It looked like things would turn to a fight, and uh, I stepped back to keep an eye on things, but my friends charged in and drew steel, and were promptly cut down by the fellow in question with a weapon made out of ice. So that is what happened from our point of view. Did I leave anything out, companions?
No, not
No.
really.
That is how we see it.
Well, I think that yesterday I would have had a harder time believing all that. But let me explain that the reason that I've been so busy is because I've been dealing with how we found a candle maker in town murdered last night with a dagger of ice in his heart. So,
Was this before or after the caravan packed up and left town?
before. It was last night. That's what I was doing all day. I was dealing with that. We found it and was investigating it, notifying people, trying to figure out if we could tell what happened.
Yeah.
Now, it seems pretty obvious to me that I have no reason to disbelieve your story given the circumstances. So I'm inclined to believe that you might have the right guy. And although I'm not happy about the prospect of the culprit being on the loose, I am, at the very least, glad that he's no longer in town. So,
Yeah. His name is Shefik, and he is with Torga's caravan. She seemed understanding, unconcerned, and appreciative of how proficient he was at defending the caravan. So
yeah, I've
make of that what you will.
I don't know this Shefik, but yeah, I know Torga, and it doesn't surprise me in the least. She's always, you know, she's never shied away from, the darker side of the business. You know, a lot of the goods that she sells, maybe she bought them legally, maybe she found them on an abandoned cart, maybe the cart wasn't so abandoned when she found it. Now,
So,
proving it and suspecting it are not the same thing. So I've never had cause to actively interfere with her, but she doesn't strike me as the sort that would turn down the services of a bodyguard who can summon ice weapons and seems to do a good job at protecting her.
With a penchant for murder.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Still
my guess would-
unproven.
Still unproven. With a potential penchant for murder.
Well,
My
I'll be
apologies.
honest with you. Given that we don't exactly have, a lot of magic investigators here or people who can really comb the crime scene or anything like that, frankly, I am persuaded enough that I think if we see Torgas again, we round up the militia. But in the meantime, I'm not sure what else needs to be done. I can maybe send a message to the other town speakers.
If you do wind up doing something about Sheffic, perhaps don't confront don't confront the group as a whole.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think what we would be doing is we would be showing up at the city limits when Torgus is coming in, and we bring in 50 guys with swords and tell them they're not welcome. I think that's what we would be doing.
Yeah.
That could be effective.
All right. Okay.
But I don't have any
will-
jurisdiction to do anything once he's left town.
Well, we are going to be traveling now. We are planning to investigate some things out in Lonelywood, and
Okay.
if you have a message you would like given to other speakers in other towns, we can carry it for you.
Well, how about this? Since it sounds like you might be passing through those places in general, I can give you. I can write a couple of letters if you want to just deliver. If you need. This would require you to tell the story mostly, but I can certainly vouch for you.
I think that would be to our mutual benefit.
All right, I can do that. So I'm a little disappointed that you're leaving. I had a couple of things that I had hoped to ask of you, but of
No.
course, obviously, I have no real hold on you or anything. So
Well, I mean, nothing that is on our agenda is pressing. There's that white moose up in Lonelywood, and somebody asked us to find a Cheringa. So if you have something that needs attention right away,
well, I mean, I talked to Waylon, and he said he mentioned the missing fishers.
oh well,
Yeah.
you haven't heard about the séance then?
She's like, sure, like, what are you talking about? Like,
That
no,
was.
I have not
That
heard
was-
about the seance.
Do you know a halfling named Ronaldo?
Yes.
Well,
Apparently, he did a séance and it worked.
this time.
Yes.
This
This time we actually talked to the white lady.
She's giving you a. All right.
Yeah.
Come on.
But
I mean, unless he knew
The
someone
expression
that
she's giving you right now is that she is currently reevaluating how strong.
all right, that how about hard facts? We went to Marcher and Doc Strider and I went to search for the knuckleheads, and we found their boat and also harpies. The harpies are dead, at least the two that we found. And the boat we found up along some caves on the southeastern corner of the lake. We did not go in to the caves to look in, but we found some footprints leading into the caves.
Oh,
So-
the harpies didn't get him then.
We don't know.
Well,
the
okay.
point is that the harpies nearly got us.
Well, look, I'm not telling you to go out there and get yourselves killed. But what I wanted to know was if there is something out there that's going to kill our guys. Well, I want to know what that is and if possible to do something about it. So
Yeah.
that's what I was
Yes.
hoping to ask of you, but obviously, I can't blame you if you decide that there are other more appetizing jobs.
Marcher looks at the other members of the party. It's like it is a threat to the community, even if it is on the other side of the lake.
I mean, those guys have been gone so long, we didn't have much hope of them being okay. But I want to know what happened. Because, if they all just fell overboard, then that's one thing. We can say, oh gosh, what a tragedy. But, I mean, if something got them, I want to make sure it's not going to get anyone else.
Perhaps especially given the confusion and violence we inflicted within this community, it would do well to aid the captain in completing the mission that she had set out for you and find and complete the mission of the caves.
I like that idea.
The Oxrider sidelong looks at Iggy and says very quietly, "You almost died there. It's up to you. If you want to take that risk again, I'll stay by your side. But I
Yeah,
don't want you feeling pressured into a situation that damn near killed you."
Ask the sword.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to let our companions face that. We're stronger now, but, or at least I feel stronger now, but I don't want
And
to.
there are more of us. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, that
I don't.
has-
I don't want to let our companions face that same instance. Whatever small assistance I can give, I want to give that assistance. Give it, but maybe get a long rest first so that I can at least for the little the little assistance that I can be
oh,
as much as possible.
A
Then-
long rest
then-
would be mandatory before investigating the caves. Agreed.
Well,
This would also give
she's
the
nodding
time.
like, no, I understand. Like, especially if you've, like, if you found some evidence already that it's dangerous, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that you already got hurt protecting East Haven from a threat. So I'm not rushing you. And like I know that I know that the speaker mentioned this. We don't have a lot as far as gold that we can give you, but we do have a couple of magic doodads that we got from that wizard that we burned. So I mean, we could probably see fit to give you those.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't want a magic doodad now and then?
Magic dude had some fun.
Yeah.
all right. So I think it's agreed. We will go return to the cliffs after we have had a rest.
Excellent.
This gives you an opportunity to write the letters.
I appreciate that, and I will definitely put together some documentation for you that if you want to put yourself in touch with the militia in each place you pass through. Certainly, I can, I can send messages too, but I don't think the next Council of Speakers is happening for another couple weeks.
So
Sounds good.
All right.
and you know something, you get some rest too. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Well, it helps a little bit that I don't have to worry that what's his face, Sefik, is going to kill someone else again here tonight.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
Right.
Thank you. If you don't have a group name, you should think of one. Help you with a rep, because otherwise I'm going to just have to mention you by name individually in this letter. But no rush.
We'll think about that while we're resting.
Yeah.
All right.
I volunteer troublemakers.
Well, given how we all started, and I'm going to have this conversation as we're leaving.
Yes.
That would be
Yeah.
that would be awkward while we're sitting there with her.
Yeah.
I was thinking, based on how we got started on all of this, Seekers of the White Lady.
Ooh, that sounds
I like
The
fun.
words.
Or Seekers for short.
Having a diminutive form also makes it easier to remember.
Better than having the diminutive form be ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
Some of
you
us
heading
can
back
get
to the
that way.
inn, or you're not?
I mean-
you're turning in for the evening. I mean,
the
that's
inn.
fine.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
They're the
Yeah.
long rest. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just say maybe just in case. Maybe you might want to have watches, just in case.
No.
No, I don't think
Not-
a certain undead is going to come back and.
No, because since now we've warned the captain, then they would have to sneak into the city, which does not sound feel like his modus operandi.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, he's gonna alert the watch, the people at the gates, and such like. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's conceivable, but I think that if they were going to kill us in our sleep, it would have happened while we were resting right after the battle, before we had a chance to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he would have just cut us down permanently right there because public opinion would have been on his side.
True.
I'm defending the caravan, and he would have been in the right without anyone to prove him otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we will meet him again, and we will
Yeah.
be better prepared to meet him again.
Yeah,
This
you
I
got the
swear.
impression they were trying to sort of split the difference a little bit by, sort of making a show of protesting their innocence, but also like, let's pack up before anyone asks us questions about that ice broadsword that Suffolk made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so everyone turns back in. You know, fish stew is on the offing at the White Lady Inn,
Yep.
and you all get a good night's sleep, and we will be waking up the next day just for the sake of keeping track of it, because like the moon and all of that, and some of that could be relevant. It is now actually. Um, it is so day 3 of the adventure. It is. Uh, it is the 27th of the month Elint, which is like is the it's like going into fall,
Mhm.
and the that oh shoot I tried to edit and it didn't save. Hang on. So it is yeah, current day is the 27th. You are like 3 days from the full moon. Just because the new moon is when they do the sacrifices and everything. So that's just,
Yeah.
um,
Be nice to not be in a city with human sacrifice on sacrifice day.
let me, I'm just gonna, I put this document in everyone's journal. So if you wanted to track it there, that's there. So are you planning to head out early? One other question is, you do recall, those of you who went there the last time, that the floor of the cave, at least on the ground level entrance that you saw, was very icy, slippery. So you could potentially invest in some crampons, which
Yeah,
little shoe
that's.
I think
spikes.
that would be that. I think that would be a good idea if I can get it in my size, anyways.
Yeah. I think that
Yes.
that's not a problem as far as size, because technically it's like 2 pieces that they
Right.
adjust with leather to fit over your boot.
Boots.
But they are 2 gold a pair. So like, for a set for both feet is 2 gold per person.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah. I will spend that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got 8
Is
gold.
is it actually something in D&D Beyond?
Yes, it
Piece of
is.
equipment?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. On the equipment
Oh, there it
page,
is.
there's a currency icon in the upper right where you can
Yep.
click that.
All right.
All right. So, otherwise are you heading out in the morning?
Yep.
Great. So I think you find a shop in town that sells crampons. They're not hard to obtain because people use them all the time. You can arrange again to borrow rowboats, but you actually need 2 because each rowboat can carry 4 people.
Okay.
So
I
you're going to be
will,
dragging those rowboats across the ice. I'm going to go ahead and just say, with 6 people, like, you can manage it. It's work, but it's not hard to do. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Effort.
yeah. But yeah, you have enough people that you're not going to struggle with it. It's just putting in the work. But
Yeah.
yeah, so if we briefly bring you back out to the Icewind Dale map, which I just am constantly having to scroll back and forth. There we go. So you're leaving East Haven and you drag the boats along the ice to where the water is. And then you are taking the rowboats east along the coast to where you remember the caves to be. I'm not going to require any checks of you to just look for the place that you left the boat the last time. All right, so on that basis, let's go ahead and bring you over to our cave map. Where was that?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
There we are. The different map names, like, because there's the quest name, but then the map name is different than what the quest, name says. So, okay, let's get everyone on the map. Still need Rowan and Wilfred and Ale on there. So if we've got this,
There it is.
yeah. So does everybody see the map, and can everyone move your token?
Yep.
All right. So those of you who have dark vision are likely seeing a little bit of hazy green at the edges of what you can see. That is indicating that you can see that with dark vision. Is anyone generating like a light of their own?
Yeah, I will cast light on my staff.
Okay, so remind me what the radius of that is.
That's 20 feet.
20 feet. Okay, so
Yeah.
I've got that actually on your token already. So your token is going to give off that light, and that's why you can all see kind of that area as well. So
Yeah, and I should note that that when you light up your staff, Wilfred, fascinating. You know magic,
No, I do not know magic.
but you're light.
I know very little about magic.
Well, maybe we can have a discussion sometime about what you do and don't know, and you know.
I have magic. I don't know magic.
Yeah.
So, just a reminder of what you have here is that there are 4 entrances to what seem to be one network of caves. One of them is at, water level, which is where you are right now. There's one that is 20 feet elevated that you would have to climb up a little slope to get to it, and that's, the one most directly to the north. And then there are 2 more further off that are 30 feet above elevated, but they all seem to be part of the same network of caves. But then as you are entering there, there's this howling wind blowing through them that just really sounds like a moaning crone. And it says, which is bone-chilling enough to deter most would-be explorers. And then, of course, the ice on the floor here is very it's very slippery, and in fact, it's covering the walls, ceiling, and floor in these caves. And these are big caves. In the tunnels, the ceilings are 30 feet high. And then there are a few places where you can actually see that the cave is open to the top, and so moonlight can come in some spots.
I just looked over my character sheet and I realized that I had um, been using my staff as my focus, and it wasn't actually. So here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Um, the part of the staff that's glowing is not actually the brass ball at the top.
Okay.
It's the staff head itself. So I take the orb, which is the actual arcane focus in my character sheet, off of it to hold in one hand, and then shove the staff like between my back and my pack, so that it kind of hangs up above my head and gives light from there without me having to hold on to it so much.
Okay.
Like a headlamp.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, more like yeah, or just a lantern hanging over my head.
All right.
Yeah.
So, did everyone buy crampons, or did we have anyone who didn't buy them?
At bottom.
I bought them.
I bought them.
Okay.
Yeah. If someone bought them for Iggy, then Iggy has
All
them
right,
too.
I bought them for Iggy.
Okay. All right. Who do I owe that money? I'm actually keeping a list of people I owe money to.
So you owe me 2 gold pieces.
Okay.
Although I'm never going to ask you for it. If you want to repay me at some point, that's fine. But otherwise, it is a gift.
You know, Iggy, one of these days, you're going to have to tell us the story of how it is you ended up out in the cold with no money to your name.
Well, the short story is that I was not robbed.
That leaves many choices and
Yes.
possibilities.
Today
Yes.
doesn't have to be the day, but someday and soon.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's
One day when we're nice and warm and
Can see the sun.
yes, and can see the sun, then I will definitely tell you that story.
All right. In the meantime, we have business to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you enter this entrance of the caves, you're definitely seeing the water there, and it's clearly several feet thick of ice. That you saw the tracks. You had seen the tracks, but they have a lot of them have like eroded more away just from like the wind and sea. And then once you get into here, you don't see tracks anymore because it's just bare ice. But you do actually it does say that the ice continues until you get to. Okay, yeah. So you do see footprints here and there still in this part of the tunnel.
I take it the wind is blowing in rather than out.
It seems, yeah, it's sort of blowing inward, but you see that because there's sort of several openings, it kind of creates this sort of almost breathing draft.
Okay. So let us go deeper.
I don't know. An ice cave feels really good to Ale.
Yeah. So I'll obviously be moving, Jason's token, but everyone else should just, at least right now, just kind of move ahead.
And
There's nothing
hi.
specifically limiting you.
Just in case we're jumped, Wilfred has a shield at the ready, so he just has to pull up his hammer when
Yeah.
it comes time to use it.
Okay.
It's not
Shield
going to
and
do
weapon.
much good, but Iggy does have mage armor on.
Okay.
So a little bit less squishy, but probably not going to help that much.
Well, it makes hits on you 10% less likely.
Work that armor class.
Yeah.
I thought it was 15.
15, yeah.
It adds 2 to your whatever your armor class would have been.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's
okay.
it's the Dex 13 plus your dexterity modifier.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So your whatever your AC would have been, mage armor adds 2.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone's kind
Okay.
of taking their time, moving in slowly. I would guess.
Yeah.
I think some of you. I think one of the neat things about the dynamic lighting is just that if you start moving ahead of where Marcher is, it's not as light. Is this working okay for you, David?
Yep.
Okay, good. I was just worried. I wanted to make sure it wasn't, slowing anybody down.
Yeah. If it was causing problems, I would have said something.
Great. So yeah, if it does in the future, let me know, and because we don't have to have it, but I think it's neat. So just in case I ever get distracted and don't move Rowan, we're assuming he's coming with you anyway. So as you kind of come around the corner here, you see that the river used to tumble over a small waterfall here, and now it's all frozen over, but it's like a 10-foot tall drop sheet of ice that you will need to climb.
So the area, it goes upward,
Yes,
right?
yeah, you need to climb up this 10-foot sort of sheet of ice that's clearly like a frozen over waterfall, and so I need an athletics check from everybody to climb it.
Okay. Marcher pulls out a couple of daggers to use to kind of chip into the ice to create handholds for his hands as he climbs up that.
All right.
And roll athletics. 17.
That's a success.
18.
Success.
16.
Where'd everything go?
Hang on, let me do.
Once folks start getting up to the top, Doc Strider is going to throw some rope up and say, either hold on to that or secure it or whatever. Climbing's not exactly my thing.
Yeah, if there's some spikes, we can drive them into the.
Yeah, like people who have already climbed up, lowering rope down will give advantage to the people following.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to need that too.
Rowan succeeded on his.
I got a 13.
That's a success.
I got an 8.
Yeah.
Did you also, Wilfred? Did you
we'll give
also
a hint.
roll low, or so? No. When you got an 8, Iggy, what happened is that you slipped and actually fell, but you don't fall far enough to hurt yourself. But when you hit the ice, you hear, and all of a sudden, beneath you, like you see the where the ice has cracked, and all of a sudden liquid water starts flowing up out of it in a very sort of odd way. Like it doesn't seem like the physics would make it do this. And in fact, it starts to swell upward. And we're rolling initiative because there's a weird water thing.
Oh,
What a
shit.
weird crap.
Yeah.
Oh no. Water weirds are nasty.
Oh, come on.
Oh, out of character in a dungeon world game, the water wheel nearly killed us all. So I'm a little leery of them.
All right. So
My
if
initiative
everyone
is-
wants to, get your initiative on the initiative tracker, if you want to click on your token and then I don't know if you have, it's fine. Just roll initiative and get it on the. I can.
Huh?
I'll just
Yeah.
add everyone on there and then you can
Yeah,
adjust
I
it yourself.
don't see where to put initiative on
Well,
the icon. So.
It's no, it's.
Oh,
like-
you have to do it on the thing there. Okay.
Well, see, the thing is, if you had your sheet in Roll20,
Yeah.
then yeah, but
Okay.
let's see. I'm rolling for Rowan. He rolled low. All right, so I think we need Doc Strider's initiative on there.
22.
All right, can you enter it into the little turn tracker there? Let's see.
Well, at least somebody's going to go before the enemy.
All right, so here's the art handout for what this thing looks like.
How weird.
Yeah, as it swirls up out of the crack in the ice. And so currently the only one down there with it is Iggy. And so let's look at Doc Strider, you are up first.
All right. Bonus action. I'm going to call down to Iggy. Hand over hand, quickly, 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 and give bardic inspiration to them. And then I am going to cast vicious mockery at the water weird.
Okay. What it makes a saving throw, right?
Yep, Wisdom TN 13.
All right. It got 13 exactly.
Okay, so nothing happens. I guess I just don't insult it well enough.
All right. Yeah, it you see it sort of like twitch in response, but otherwise not react. All right. And
It
now
learned to just not listen to bullies. That's
Yeah.
good for him. Good for him.
and it is now the water weird's turn, and it is going to attempt to constrict you, Iggy. It starts wrapping its freezing cold water around you, and it rolls a 20 to hit. Bang. For 11 bludgeoning damage. You are currently grappled by it as it tries to constrict you.
Iggy's still up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's got you grappled, and so you'll have to use your action to try to escape. Unfortunately, you won't be able to just climb up. But it is your
Okay.
turn now.
Okay. So I'm going to cast Hexblade's Curse on this thing.
Okay.
If it dies, I get 5 hit points back. So
yeah.
if I go down, it'll please kill it quickly.
So to be clear, too, you are not merely grappled. You are restrained and cannot breathe because it's trying to drown you in itself.
Right. But yes, and it's what, a strength save
Yes.
to get out?
Yeah. It's just a check, strength check.
Strength check.
Athletics. Yeah, you
All
know,
right.
if that's
Athletics is not my. It doesn't matter.
Remember, you got bardic inspiration if you think the D6 will help.
Yeah, the D6 will definitely help from a 12.
Oh.
17.
A 17 is a success.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yay, bardic inspiration.
And a 12 would not have been. So there you go.
Right.
So yes, you are able to, you have to use your action, but you are able to break free, and you are no longer restrained.
Okay, can I? Well, no, I really don't want to pull a opportunity attack.
Well, you can climb up without getting outside of its reach.
Right.
And then on a later turn you can
but
disengage.
But the climb requires a check,
An
so
action.
that you need an action to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I'll stay where I am,
All right.
and that's it.
Marcher.
Okay. Am I within its reach?
No. Oh well. Okay. Yes, actually.
Okay, so it does have enough.
No,
so,
well,
okay.
so no, because you would be if it were all flat, but because you're 10 feet up, you are out of its reach. Everyone, everyone else but you and Rowan are out of
Is
reach,
it
though.
is it taller than
in-
the 10 foot?
No, it basically it's like the top of it is just below that level, so it's all below you.
All right. So then, from where I am on the kind of the edge of this cliff, I will peek down and cast Ray of Frost at it.
Okay.
Got a 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Okay. That does a D8 damage, 4 points of damage.
Okay.
And that also reduces its speed by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
All right.
And I'm going to move back away from its immediate
Yeah. Makes
gaze.
sense.
And that's my turn.
All right. So, Aule, you're up.
Okay, so I'm standing at this edge here, so I'm going to, and Iggy has broken free. This is important, so I'm going to bend my head down and I'm going to give a draconic growl and I'm going to unleash my breath weapon at it.
Great.
So it gets a Constitution save, DC 11.
Constitution save. All right. 5. So that's a failure.
Oh,
So it gets 2d6 of cold damage for its pains. Ten points of
Nice.
cold damage
Nice.
to the water.
Very
Nice.
nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I'm going to remain where I am for the moment because there's still vulnerable people near me, so I'm not going to evacuate until Iggy's free anyway. Iggy's
Sure.
up and away anyway.
Yeah. All right. So this would be Rowan's turn. I think he's gonna come around like over here, and he's gonna attack it with the longbow.
All right. I am guessing that he has more than a +1 to Dex, right?
What do you mean?
Same initiative count.
Yeah, okay, hang on. I didn't realize it was the same. Just a second. He rolled a natural 1 on his longbow anyway, so.
Yeah, he's.
No, he has a +1 to dex also. Like, let's not worry about it. Do you want to be first?
Okay.
You can be first if you want.
Okay. So that would be a. Can I actually reach like with melee?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Gonna go ahead and smack him with a warhammer. Do the right thing.
There's those frozen parts where the cold weapons
Oh.
are hit. Now you're gonna smack into
Oh,
those.
okay. 12
12?
to hit.
12 misses, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's swooshing water sort of just slooshes away out of reach. So Rowan does fire his longbow, got a natural 1, unfortunately. But I'm going to give him an opportunity to make a nature check. Let's see how that goes. No, that's low, so never mind. I was to see if he knew something about water weirds. But nope, that's that's his turn. Doc Strider, you're up again.
I am going to risk the attack of opportunity and move over here.
Okay. It's going to try to grab at you.
Okay.
Gets a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right. So you are grabbed by it. It's going to do 19 bludgeoning damage.
Oh god!
I'm out.
Yikes.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So and then so I mean you're restrained, but like
Also,
but now it's also used its reaction. All right. So so that happened, unfortunately. So sorry about that.
And now it's its turn and it gets reaction back.
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. So in any case, it's its turn. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it can't actually do anything else other than holding Dockstrider in its constrict. So there's no like additional attack or anything that it does. It's basically essentially not using its turn because it has a constricted target.
Okay.
But Iggy, now it's you.
Okay. So it has a constricted target. Does that mean I do not need to disengage in order to climb up?
Correct.
Okay.
But you would use your action to do that.
Right. Right. It was just the concern where if it can still attack me, then I would need to disengage to get up because I've only got 4 hit points left. So, it's an athletics check.
I mean, like the thing is, like, I mean, you only know that it can't attack you. Well, it's fine. It's an
Yeah.
athletics check. Yeah.
Athletics. Okay.
And you still have the rope, so make with
Yeah.
advantage.
Well, I got a 16 that time, so
That's fine. Yeah, you got it.
that's much better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And
Bonus action or anything?
I've already got the
Hexblade's Curse.
Hexblade's Curse. I don't think I have any more bonus actions.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Marcher.
I am going to try to find a part of its anatomy that isn't too terribly close to my friend there and cast Ray of Frost again.
All right.
19.
Hits.
Another 2 points of damage.
All right.
And once again, its movement is slowed.
Yeah, it does take that too.
And
I'll let you make a nature check, also, Marcher.
okay. 12.
You know, one of the things that you know about a lot of these sorts of creatures is that they have to stay with the water that they like come from. Like they can't leave the water. So you
Right.
suspect that if you moved away to where it's coming out of that crack, it couldn't follow you.
Yeah. Okay. I will. If we can get our friend out of its grip, we can escape it just by running away. It has to stay there.
So, are you? Oh, yeah, you moved already. So, Ale, your turn.
Okay, so having listened to the Goliath, can I contest the water weird for possession of our friend
Yes.
Dockstarter Nothing?
Yeah, make an athletics check.
Okay. .24.
Yes, you
Nice.
are easily able to pull him free of the water weird's grip. And if you want to pull away, it will get an opportunity attack. But
On me?
Yeah, it'll be making it on you.
That's oh god.
Well, you've
It's
pulled
gonna
it.
have to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, it's good. That was going to strike me before I leave. Okay, I'll try to take it.
Okay, so it's gonna make its attack 10.
A 10 will not hit the
Yeah.
paladin.
So you are able to drag Dockstrider away from it at half speed. So you could move it. You could move together 3
15
squares.
feet.
Yeah. And it has now used its reaction. All right.
Can somebody move Dockstarter along?
Well, I can do it. Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's Ale's turn. Wilfred.
Okay. Well, even though I know
Everyone, come on.
I just run away. Gonna take one last swing at it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the other fact of the matter is, like, you can escape it, but you could also take pot shots at
Crit.
it.
Natural 20.
Nice. All right, roll that crit damage. Incidentally, the way I want to do crits in this campaign, if everyone's okay with this, is instead of just rolling the die twice, max it for the first one and then roll it for the second.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Uh,
Okay.
a note with the D&D Beyond dice roller. Is it automatically does the 2 dice?
Okay. I mean, I don't think that the D&D Beyond dice roller automatically does the crit. So like whatever the
No, like I just after the natural 20, I rolled damage and it rolled 2d8.
okay.
But I'll just take
Figure it
the
out.
the first
Yeah,
number.
do a little math.
Yeah, figure
So-
it out. Yeah.
All right. So actually, the first number was an 8. So
Okay.
that'd be
So what's the total damage?
19.
Okay. 19 is pretty good. Yeah. You managed to just, there's a big chunk of it that had gotten frozen from all of those other Ray of Frost attacks, and you just clobber it to the point where it sends those solid chunks like just flying out of it. And you can see that this thing is like it's still got some strength in it, but you guys have done some substantial damage to it. A lot of it just from that last hit.
Yeah. And moving away.
Yeah. Rowan is saying, well, hey, now that we're all kind of clear of it, because it does seem like it can't reach you anymore, he's going to make another longbow attack at it. Boy, he's rolling really low. That's another miss. So my rolling for Jason's character is really low, so he should come back and roll it himself.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Doc Strider, you're up. All of you, I will confirm all of you for. Well, it's turn, so I guess I'm not going to confirm anything yet. Doc Strider, it's your turn.
I succeeded on my first death save.
Okay, great. Now it is the Water Weird's turn, and I think all of you now can verify that it seems to be sort of stretching out to try to reach any of you, but it cannot, because it can't emerge any further from where it came out of the crack. Iggy.
Okay. Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, let's see it.
23.
Hits, yeah.
For 13 damage.
Ouch.
Got that
Yeah.
Eldritch
Agonize-
Invocation. Yeah.
Yep. Agonizing Blast.
Yeah. It looks pretty hurt now, for sure. Okay, so Marcher, your turn.
Another ray of frost. 18 to hit,
Hits.
3 damage.
Pink, pink, pink.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, it's still going, but it's you're whittling it down to its last bits.
Mm-hmm.
I need that 5 hit points.
Yep. That's what I'm going
You,
for.
Yeah.
you need 5 hit points?
I will share hit points with you in a minute.
So patience, the paladin is here.
So Ale, speaking of,
Okay, so how many hit points do you have right now, Doc?
he's unconscious.
He's unconscious.
but-
0.
So
He's at
it's
0?
At 0. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
then it's time to
unconscious,
lay
yeah.
on hands to bring him up.
Mhm.
So I will spend 5 of my lay on hands pool
All right.
on Doc Strider.
You are awake now, Doc Strider, with 5 hit points.
Isn't it nice to have a healer in the party? Hi.
Yeah, for what it's worth.
So
And
yeah,
I'm
that's my
going to
only
go
action.
ahead and rule that just being grappled and restrained by this thing was not enough to make you kind of completely soaked. Because to be clear, the rules here for being immersed in the frigid water is that the timer doesn't stop until you're able to change out of those wet clothes and get warmed up.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm going to say that you are wet but not soaked, and so therefore those rules don't kick in.
well,
But
well
just-
like when you pulled it out, its body stayed behind. So.
yeah. Well, it's like you
Yeah.
you are wet but not like soaked through. Like you got splashed from the outside, but it didn't penetrate your clothing layers. All right, so Wilfred, your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna switch to the light crossbow
Mm-hmm.
and twang for 17.
17 hits.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Yep.
You finish it off.
Yay!
As your crossbow bolt sails through its weird face, it just suddenly, just like with no other reaction, it just loses all coherence and just splashes to the ground like water.
Wow,
And then
that was
and then
interesting.
immediately freezes because it's 45 degrees below zero.
Yeah, exactly. You hear like this crackling sound as you see this puddle just freezing against the ice below. And so you would get your Hexblade Curse effect, Lee.
Yes. Yay!
I have 5 hit points left to my lay on hands pool.
Yeah.
You want it. You need it.
Me? No, I'm fine.
I'm talking to you and Iggy.
I've got 2 myself, but let's.
You've got 2 what?
I've got. I can lay on hands as well. I can do for 2, but it's not as useful. But at least.
Yeah, well, 1 point can get someone out in case someone save someone's life. So
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So you are now at a fork. There is a place where you can see a cavern tunnel curve off to the east here, or the icy part continues to the north. You can no longer see any footprints.
Oh, so we were still
You-
seeing
I
footprints
think
all
that
the way
water
to
one is
the.
totally-
Yeah, you saw them probably up to the waterfall. And I mean, the water weird only came out when Iggy fell and cracked the ice.
Right.
Right.
And you didn't see any other indication of bodies or anything.
Right.
All right. I will look around to see if I can find any more tracks.
All right. Make a survival check. Rowan will help you so it can make it an advantage.
A 15.
You don't see any more tracks.
You want me to,
I mean, but what you recognize too is just up here, the wind just howls through this particular spot so much that it's mostly just bare ice and wouldn't really leave tracks.
do you want
Well,
me to go have
so
a
we don't, and we do we not see any in this section off here?
No, you don't see any more tracks.
Okay. So I think we should keep going along the ice because there's no tracks over there.
So what I'm gonna say is, you don't see the tracks, but it's also not a case where, like, you don't know, but it's not a case
Yeah.
where there are no tracks, therefore it's just you don't see tracks.
Yeah, I'm just saying that of the 2 options, the one that is
No,
slightly more parsimonious.
I buy the
is
logic.
is
I totally
along
get
the
it. I
ice.
just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. That
Yep.
it's
Well-
you are following the logic, and it's not a case of like, well, because I didn't see tracks, therefore, right? So yeah,
Right.
yeah, but that
Uh,
makes sense.
Do you want me to take a quick little look-see in the cave just to see what's there? I can be pretty quiet about these things.
If you can do it without alerting things in there, it might be a good idea to have a peek.
All right.
Do you need light? Because
Oh, no.
if we bring a light, it will
No,
alert whatever.
I'm
it is.
fine without light.
Okay. Then yes, we
And-
will be listening for your screams.
I'm a stealth down the cave.
All right, go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
I will do that thing. Stealth. Come on. You can do this. I got a 22.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. So as you're starting to peek around the corner a little bit, you do see that there seem to be some stairs there. They're relatively high stairs, like like made for like tall people. but not so much that it's difficult, would be difficult to go up them.
Do they look like they were natural or like
N-
carved?
they look like they were carved, but like not eh, not dramatically so. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they're made, but it's not like full masonry and everything. It's just like
Okay. All right, I'll head back to the group and let
yeah,
them know.
crudely carved stairs.
Yes.
And then I think as you peek through, you do see that there is some moonlight coming down into that other cave from the above. But looks like you didn't go far enough around the corner to see much else about that room.
Right. I'll come back and I'll let the group know what I saw. Crudely carved stairs, and it looks like whatever's past that, there is some moonlight coming down on it.
Let's
I don't
investigate
s-
the main line for now, and we can come back to this cave if necessary.
Yes. Let us keep going this way. Thank you
Okay.
for that.
Just feels like going on dry land would be a little bit easier for a bunch of old guys.
But they were drunk, so who knows?
Yeah. And if the stairs are that high, then they probably wouldn't have wanted to challenge them.
So one of the so let me be clear. They're tall stairs. They're not like 4 feet tall. They're just
okay.
They're just steep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Is
like
that
I
a- is
said,
that
it would not be difficult. Yeah. So what you're seeing is like an icy sort of span that's 20 feet above where you are right now. That clearly it's kind of connecting to other areas that are like 20 feet up from you right now, and you can pass underneath.
Continuing on. And we're walking.
Yeah.
And we're walking, and what is in front of us?
Continues to be
Do
very
we
cold.
hear anything other than the wind?
No, the wind is so loud that it really you feel like it would be difficult to hear really much of anything else. In fact, even when you talk amongst yourselves, you kind of have to raise your voice.
And
So is,
I'm getting flashbacks to a different game. Like this part of the map looks so familiar.
So a little bit of Lost Mine of Fandelver in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so making your way.
making our way?
Making our way downtown.
I'll go ahead and let you know that that you can go around a few more curves without anything else happening. So you can be a little bit more aggressive with your movements. All right. So you'll see something else when you're at a place where it matters. So you can just go ahead and move till it's obvious that there's something to see.
There's light.
There's
Yeah.
definitely something there.
Yeah. So as you reach around that corner, you see an underground river once spilled into a pool in this area, filling it with water and overflowing to the west, the way that you've just come from. The river and the pool are now frozen, but on you can see moonlight shining down again from the a hole in the the surface and illuminating the basin of this, and you see entombed in the ice are 4 enormous skeletons, the faint outlines of their forms barely visible. They are of a size that it's you wouldn't necessarily know which kind unless you are knowledgeable of such things, but they are definitely giant skeletons.
Well, being someone who is, a jack of all trades, is there some kind of role I could make?
Sure.
What kind of role?
How about nature?
Nature. Let's see how that goes. Rolled a 19.
You're pretty sure they are frost giant skeletons.
That would make sense.
It would, yeah.
Frozen frost giants.
Frozen frost giants.
Hmm.
You know, talk about living by the sword and all that.
Indeed.
Yeah, so
Something
from
seems-
here, you can definitely see that there is another tunnel leading off to the east, one to the south here, and then there's a few alcoves over to the northeast.
Something seems
Is there
strange
is,
about frost giant bodies or skeletons in a frozen lake.
Well, it's also true that this lake, it's possible this lake wouldn't have been frozen before this ongoing, the everlasting rime, you know, the
I know.
increased
Think
cold.
they
So-
were-
well, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not ruling out what you're saying. I'm just saying, you know, I'm adding the context that this lake was, you know, well, you know for a fact it must not have always been frozen, because how would you otherwise get skeletons in it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that was more in character.
Sure. No,
Awesome.
I'm not, and I'm not trying to contradict that. I'm just adding to that you would realize, all of you, that you know,
Okay.
this lake would have at some point had to be not frozen solid for there to even be skeletons in it.
okay. The passageway to the south there is that does that require a climb up? It looks like it does.
It does, but it's not a dramatic one. It's let me just see if it says how. I think it's just like 5 feet.
I still think that a couple of drunks would not have gone up that way. So let's look over here. Let's try this way.
The path of least resistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Immediately, Doc Strider says, "No further."
Why
No
not? What's on?
further.
So
There's
yeah, what
someone
you peeked around this corner and caught a glimpse of, Doc Strider, and anyone who kind of had gotten that far, you're going to see a decrepit old woman standing over a steaming, enormous iron cauldron, which is clearly full of some sort of a liquidy, you know, something, and she is also got behind her a stone block atop which she has a lot of butchered meat. She seems to be adding meat to her stew. Heaped around this block are rusty hatchets and what looks like perhaps the flayed corpses of 4 fishers from East Haven. And yes.
Is the wind still really howling through this area?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of saying anything, Marcher just kind of nods knowingly and holds up his hand for 1, 2, 3, and then a motion across his throat. Or no, he puts a finger to his lips and hand motions. And then kind of looks questioningly at everyone.
Wilfred will, basically like hold up his bow or his crossbow, like use this.
Marcher nods, and you know what? I'm actually going to cast False Life on myself.
That gives temporary hit points, is that right?
Yes, I've got 7 temporary hit points.
Okay.
False life, undead.
Paladin, get him!
Wow, you stereotyped me already.
Look, we've already seen you in Undead.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to creep forward. Well, actually, I've got a line of sight where I am. So
Well,
if
I
everybody's
think I'm going to need a group stealth check before anything else happens.
okay,
Legit.
20, dirty 20.
22.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
12.
Okay.
12.
Well,
Fine.
that's already enough successes that you're. Actually, let me just double check to make sure that.
I'm in armor. I
Yeah.
don't stealth.
No, yeah, like well, but as a group check, all you need is that you get more successes than failures, and you've already got enough. So
Okay.
I will rule for right now. She has not noticed you.
Okay. So we can kind of arrange ourselves at the mouth of the cavern here, and then Marcher holds out 1, 2 with his left hand because he's going to be casting with his right. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll unleash.
And then get her. Get her. Plan.
That's our plan. Get her.
That's our plan. Get her.
Get her.
So,
Do you
yeah.
want us to roll initiative, or do you want to, or how you want to do this?
So because she is not aware of you yet, and your plan is to just basically surprise ambush her and not like talk or anything, which I'm not saying I blame you. It will be a surprise round. So
Okay.
have all of you, I guess what makes sense is we'll go ahead and roll initiative, but the first round is a surprise round.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool.
And my initiative is 11 again, so.
Jeez, I'm getting the good rolls. Let's see. Or maybe not. Okay.
12 for my initiative. I could also be using my sheet. That might as well.
All right. So everyone, make sure that your initiative on the little turn order tracker there is accurate.
Mine's good.
Yep.
Okay. Has everyone got it?
Yep.
Yep.
Great. So that means Wilfred, you're making your attack first in this surprise round.
Ah, that's an 11.
Okay. Actually, what is her AC?
Actually, there wouldn't be any sort of advantage.
I mean, you're attacking from hiding, so yeah, I guess technically there is.
Okay.
I think it's a surprise round, so only the first round is going to be only the first attack will be at advantage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, once she has been attacked once by someone, she's aware something's going on, and so no one else gets advantage.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That was a 15
15 hits.
with advantage.
Yeah, 15 does hit.
Made it count. Good.
7 damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Piercing
So,
if it matters.
yeah. Your crossbow bolt sinks into the shoulder of this poor decrepit old woman just standing at her soup pot.
Cooking up people.
And she wails in pain and surprise and anger. Ow! Like that, just like that. All right, Iggy, your turn. Your turn.
I got a crit.
Okay, with what?
Eldritch Blast.
Okay, well, go ahead and roll it then.
Okay, so that's 23.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Okay, wait. So
Iggy.
23. So you maxed the first one and then rolled a 10?
Yeah, I rolled. I maxed the first one, which was a 10, and then I rolled a 10, and then I added 3.
Okay, well,
So,
just
yeah.
confirming, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's basically max damage
Max
for
damage.
a crit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well-
that's a dramatic hit. Yeah, so that blast
Yeah.
just like knocks her backwards, and she's wide-eyed staring in horror.
All right, and then I'm going to get out of there so that she can't hit me.
All right, Ale.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at her with my crossbow,
All right,
and I get an 18.
18 hits.
10 points of
Ah,
damage.
another max
Wow.
hit.
Wow.
Hey,
Boy. All right. Okay. So it makes it your turn, Doc Strider.
Let's see. Let me check my distance here. Yes, exactly 60 feet. I will vicious mockery her.
Okay.
She gets a wisdom save.
All right.
go on, fail.
Fail, fail,
She
fail,
does.
fail.
Yeah, she does.
No.
What does vicious mockery do again?
2 points of damage, and she gets disadvantage on her next attack.
All right.
That will be useful at disadvantage.
Yes.
Well, assuming she casts something that, requires
an
a
attack roll, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marcher, your turn.
I'm going to move so that I'm one of the more resilient members of the party right now, so I'm not going to go and run and hide. But I am going to get away from the others so that if there's an area effect spell, I'm not as likely to get, to be in the big cluster. And I'm going to cast Ice Knife.
Okay.
Wait, you're killing someone with an ice knife? You're the mass murderer!
And
No, but he was with us. We can give him an alibi.
You literally
gotta-
all fought the guy who practically admitted it. So anyway,
Yeah,
that's
we're-
fine.
I don't know.
I rolled a
I don't
14.
trust this
14
guy.
just hits. 14
Okay,
just
so
hits, yeah.
that is a D10 of piercing damage, 7 points, and then it shatters, and she needs to make a dexterity save, DC 13, or take 2d6 cold damage.
She fails the dexterity save, and so yeah.
Okay, so that's 6 points of cold damage.
Okay. You see her slump to the ground, dead.
Seriously?
That's how you do it.
Yes. But
Wow.
hang on though.
Oh wait, there's more.
Yeah.
That was a cauldron attack. though.
What happens what happens if they succeed on the dexterity saving throw? Is it no damage?
There's no damage. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she appears to be dead. And she did not even get to say anything, which, I mean, you don't know if you care about what she has to say. But yeah, so she slumps to the ground dead, completely overwhelmed by your surprise ambush. And I think, it makes sense that Rowan would kind of sort of creep up looking to see if there's anyone else, and he will hold an attack in case he sees anything else that's dangerous. But here's something else that happens. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So sorry, I'm having to reveal something here. Marcher, you are celebrating your victory when all of a sudden this floating little bright light appears right in front of you, and it's going to try to zap you, but it only gets a 6, so it fails to zap you. Yeah,
Figure rope.
and that's it for its turn. So Wilfred, you're up.
Well, does that trigger Rowan's?
Oh,
Rowan-
yeah, probably would.
Oh.
Yeah, hang on. You're right. That makes sense. Nope. Low rolls for Rowan.
We really
Aw.
need him back.
Well, hopefully we'll in the future have Jason here to actually play his own character. But yeah. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, he comes in to try to swing his short sword at it, but he misses. Wilfred, your turn.
Gonna go ahead and yeah, yeah. Basically, I drop my crossbow, pull out my warhammer, and try and go smack
All right.
on this glowing thing that tried to
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
cause
buy it. I buy it.
23.
23 hits.
And since couldn't not using a shield because needed two hands, I'm gonna go ahead and do 8 damage.
All right. You manage to bean it with your hammer, but you see that it sort of resounds off of it in a way that you feel like it maybe didn't take the full impact.
Resistant little bugger.
Yeah. All right, Iggy, you're up.
Okay, so
Think we could
something
use
weird
that,
is happening.
Yeah, and I don't think
Yes.
you would even know that the woman is down, but because you went around
Right.
the corner. But yeah, but you can
Yeah.
look far enough to see that there's a weird little light that your allies are swatting at.
Eldritch Blast.
You're not going to Hexblade curse it again?
No,
in order
I
to get
can't.
Hit points?
I
Oh,
can only do that once per short rest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dirty 20.
That hits.
And do that. For 9 points of damage.
All right. It's flickering, but it's still up, doing its thing.
Okay. Okay, and I'm getting back under cover again.
All right.
Y'all tell me if I need to hit something.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah. Ale, you're up.
Okay, I'm putting away the crossbow, pulling out the sword and shield, and moving up and taking a swing at it. That is a dirty 20.
Hits.
How much that? 1d10 plus 1d8 plus 3. Only 5 points of damage.
All right. It's still up, but it's pretty hurt. It's very flickering, and it looks very weak now.
Okay.
So that makes it
Doc Strider.
Strider, your turn. You got your friends crowded around this thing now.
Yeah, just gonna move over here and just yell a curse at the thing. I'm gonna do vicious mockery on it.
All right. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
It gets a 16.
Okay, so it saves. It takes nothing from it.
Yeah.
It just gets vaguely insulted.
Yeah.
That's all.
It flickers at all of you in a way that makes you suspect that it is lashing out in an act of dying vengeance since you killed its master or mistress, I suppose. Yeah. So
All right,
Marcher.
my turn?
Yep.
Okay. You know something? Yeah. I'm going to drop my orb in my pocket, pull out my staff, and take a big overhand two-handed strike with the staff.
All right. Let's see it.
It's not my best attack, but it's melee. 17. Wow.
17. Is a miss. This thing
Okay,
is
so
tiny and
whoosh.
flicks around out of the way. All your
Okay.
friends got lucky shots. You didn't.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky too, but not as lucky. Yeah. So yeah, that's you know what? Actually, yes. I'm going to move out of its reach.
Okay. It gets to make an opportunity attack.
No, yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that with any luck, I think I'm going to stay where I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that makes it Rowan's turn. He's going to try again. Let's see if he can land a single attack. Or did he get one against the water weird? I don't remember now.
No, he missed both of
No.
the shots there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, the little D&D Beyond roller is giving him just like I don't think I've had him roll higher than an 8 on anything.
Oh. Ouch.
Yeah, so that's another miss. So it is the Will-o'-the-Wisp's turn, and it turns invisible.
Dang it.
Yeah. And then you suspect that it is moving away, and so we can have an attempted opportunity attack from Wilfred, Marcher, Aule, and Rowan, but all at disadvantage because it's invisible.
10.
This
19.
19 does hit.
Yay.
Oh,
Ah.
and then Rowan actually got one too, but we'll do yours first.
Only an 11, so I missed.
What's the damage, Wilfred?
5.
5. You see that it explodes like a popping light bulb, just like pop into little sparks drifting down, and it's gone.
Bizarre.
Well done.
Cool.
All right, so we are no longer in initiative. Well done, you guys. You just you just
Annihilated the
yeah. You managed to sneak up on her and get a surprise round, and you just did your thing. Got some good rolls. Yeah. So as you
Learned our lesson.
yeah. So let me just reread the description in here. This decrepit old woman. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Probably. Let me just double check the. First of all, this little spark. Let me give you a handout for that. The will o' the wisp. Why is it not coming up? Come on.
All right. Be right back.
Okay. So there's a little handout for the will o' the wisp. Just a little floating mode of light. And then I want to just confirm if she reverts to her form when she dies. Why is it not coming up? Hold on.
Secret form of 3 kobolds in a cloak.
That's later.
Yeah. No. So as soon as here's the thing, that she was just this lump of robes when she died, but then as you come closer, she is revealed instead that in her dead form, she is revealed to look like this.
Oh,
Nice.
pretty.
Yeah. So, she was. I think now that you can look at her, she was clearly a sea hag.
Yes.
Yeah, and she had her will-o'-the-wisp sort of familiar. But yes, so as mentioned, there is an enormous cauldron, and the stone block, which has lots of awful butchered meat and flayed corpses. So that's all obviously awful here. She has sickly grayish purple flesh, bulging eyes, stringy black hair interwoven with finger bones. Boy, she just all sorts of things that she didn't even get a chance to do. It's fine. And no, you're lucky for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think actually you're all kind of just checking her everything, and then you hear just sort of a weird little burble from her that just says, "Now you'll never know about the treasure."
Well, definitely gonna see if there's anything that it's not completely gross and
Yeah.
valuable
So
on
here's
there.
yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so here's the thing that is interesting about what you see in here is that aside from all of the other just horrible stuff that you don't, not only do you think is not valuable, but you don't frankly even want to touch, there is mostly the notable thing in here is the cauldron itself. And the stew that's currently in it, you kind of feel like, maybe not. But the cauldron is clearly full of piping hot stew, but there is no fire underneath the cauldron.
So,
How big is this cauldron?
It is,
Like 8 feet in diameter?
No. It is of a size where if you wanted to transport it, you'd have to dump it out. Like you couldn't carry it full, but empty.
Right.
Empty. Like if you were all working together, you could do it.
So, might I make a bit of a suggestion here? One thing we might want to do, and I elect someone other than me, and you'll understand why in a moment. Someone might want to look through the things to see if there's any personal effects left amongst the chunks
I
of
was
bodies.
I was going to suggest that.
Just so we can give some closure to some people around here.
Yes.
While
I
you're
think-
doing that, I can ritual cast identify and learn a bit more about this cauldron.
Yes.
Does that sound all right to people?
I think that would be a good idea. So
All right. So I'm going to start ritual casting identify.
and
And
I'm going to start. I'm going to look around for anything. I mean, we're not looking for body parts here. We're looking for
Well, if there are any like
Rings.
personal effects and that sort
personal
of thing.
effects and
Yeah,
things.
tchotchkes. Like,
Yeah, I think you don't find anything that looks like it would be valuable.
No,
I
I mean not valuable. Just
right. But yeah, just in terms of like bits of clothing that like none of it is wearable anymore because it's all been like cut off of the bodies and that sort of thing. But you, like you
Right.
certainly like find those sorts of things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like itemize them because none of them have like financial value. But you basically do find that
Yeah.
like enough. You find enough that like it's clear that this is who you were looking for.
Yes.
So
And probably a better idea not to bring anything back than to bring stuff back that would upset any families.
I mean that's
And,
up to you guys to decide.
And a note, Wilford is watching, Doc Strider cat ritual cast rat fascination.
So here's what you discover. Actually, let me just put this in your journal, Doc Strider, and so you can tell everyone what it does.
Fantastic.
It is a cauldron of plenty.
Ooh,
So you should have it in your journal now.
I do.
what were the name of the knuckleheads? I ask the other three.
I don't think they're not.
Yeah.
named.
We
Okay.
we didn't
Like, they
get a
had
name.
names, but yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have them.
Okay,
Yeah.
then sans names. Ollie's going to kneel and just say a prayer for their souls. And
That's nice.
since they've obviously been consumed and turned into stew, there's no body, but this is where they died, so he'll just go through the motions here.
Well, what we have here is a very interesting cauldron. If you put water in it and stir for a minute, the water turns into a good hot stew, enough for up to 4 people. And it'll remain hot as long as it's in the cauldron. And it can do that 3 times a day.
Oh, that is a very useful thing.
Yeah.
It is not exactly something you'd travel with unless you had a cart, but I'm sure we can find someone in this town, like an innkeeper or something, who might want something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
or
The wet
or,
trout.
Or well, I was thinking more in the sense of someone who feeds the poor, feeds widows and orphans and people like that.
Yeah.
There's-
A charity.
Not going to get as much pay that way, but it's certainly a good thing to do.
I think after what's going on, we could do with some boost to our reputation.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
they were.
Doc Schreider and Rowan, knowing 10 towns the best, would know that unless you're planning to just find the richest person in town, the person that's likely to be able to give you the best price for something like that, like something that's good for the town, would be you would want to take them to the town speaker.
Yeah.
Unless you had some reason not to want to do that for some reason. But I'm not telling you don't. I'm just saying that normally that's who's going to be able to say there's town funds for a town good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So, to be clear, too, when it's empty, it's 4 feet wide. The mouth is 3.5 feet in diameter, weighs 50 pounds. So it's awkward. It would be
But
awkward to
carryable.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like traveling with it would still be awkward, but theoretically could be done if you managed to, like, if you, like, carrying it on foot is awkward, but like if you eventually got like an axe beak or a dog sled or something like that.
Right.
Up to
Or
you.
we can to get it to the boats. We can slide it along along the ice. We put it in the boat and then drag it back to the town in the
East
boat.
Haven.
Shall we empty out its current contents?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Da.
I recommend somewhere down in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that, whatever the kind of stew it makes, it was, this sea hag thought it needed more flavor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As for the sailors, did you find, or the fishermen, did you find some effects so we can?
Yes, we found some clothes, crampons. That's
I
good.
think we return those to the families.
Or at least to the speaker who can.
Oh yeah, he could do
Yeah.
the job for
Who
us.
can then
That's true.
find the right people.
That's true. He would know them better
So
than we would.
Or to the captain.
And while I am feeling quite hale, I think there are several of us who are wounded. I think a retreat would be in order at this point.
Agree. We
let us
we
make our
found
way
what we
back to
came
the
here to
boats.
find.
Yes. But I think it would also be worthwhile to come back and explore the rest of these caves. Who knows what else is here?
Yes, there's still caves yet unseen, and if we are going to make sure if there's any further threat to the town, there might be more than just the sea hag in this cave. So it would be
Yes.
our duty to come back.
Is it possible to get get a piece, or would it be wise to get a piece of the sea hag to basically have its purpose? This is what we found.
I don't want to
Marcher
carry.
goes over to the sea hag, borrows a sword, and cuts off her head.
Witcher
That will
trophy
do.
style.
That
Yep.
will do.
Yeah, I mean, this is not his only trophy. He's got a he's got a hunting. What did I decide it was?
One of those hunting cats, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got a cat head trophy already. So this is not something he's unused to. So yes, Witcher style, take her head.
All right.
I think I need to get myself an axe for this kind of thing.
All right. So, which way are you going? What are you doing?
Back the way we came.
Back the way we came.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if you only go back the way you came, you don't encounter anything I haven't described already, and so you are able to drag the cauldron along. We could
When
fuss
it's not
about-
full, it's not hot, right?
Right,
Because I don't
right.
want it like melting through the ice.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're correct. It cools off almost immediately when it's empty. And as you're, like we could fuss around with rolls, like as you're handing it down the waterfall, but like it doesn't really matter anymore. And so you're all able to retreat from the caves, knowing that as you leave behind these caves, you do, see those other two cave entrances, knowing, we didn't go that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's still unexplored stuff just in this cave, I
Yep,
believe.
that's
So,
true.
yep,
Yep.
it's
There'll be more to explore
it will
later.
keep
Yeah.
for the moment.
But you do make your way. Oops. Just refresh the same map. You do make your way back to East Haven, and I think by the time you, you left to go there first thing in the morning, right? So I think by the time you
Yeah.
get back, it's like midday. So I think you're
Right.
arriving back.
During
back
the
to
light
town.
time of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you heading like straight to the town hall with this?
Yep.
All right.
Why?
All right, so let's put you on the town hall map. And let's go ahead and, just get. So this veteran token is a stand-in for Captain Imdra, just because she doesn't have her own like artwork. But yeah, so you make your way in there, and I think we can hand wave you just describing what happened and what you found. I think you can explain what you saw there, what happened, and what occurred. And did you just like bring the cauldron in with you, or like what are
Yeah.
you saying about that?
I would bring in the cauldron unless someone had good reason not to.
No, we're definitely bringing it in.
Yeah.
It will do the town much more good than it will do to us.
While the discussion of fighting the hag happens, Doc's writer embellishes. Doc's writer makes it sound much more dangerous than we snuck up on her and murdered her.
Sure.
Hey.
One quick, hang on one second. So as you are, describing all of this, Waylon brings in like one of his, assistants, like one of the people who works here in the town hall, and just having her sort of like, collect the effects and like take, notes so that, the effects can be returned to the families, and just assisting with that sort of thing. Captain Argaloth is, certainly checking over the trophy and inspecting the cauldron and all of that. One second.
Cauldron definitely needs to be washed first.
Yeah.
Disinfected.
Possibly sterilized.
But when you describe the column, when you describe the cauldron, rather, and I assume you just explained straight up exactly how it works, he is immediately very interested in that, and he says that could be enormously helpful to the town, as everybody knows, where we have a lot of people who are struggling to fill their bellies of late. I think that this is something that we could absolutely we would love to purchase from you if you would be willing to sell. I think that I could and he goes through some ledgers, and he says, I have, on behalf of the town, 500 gold piece gemstones that I would be willing to give all of you for the cauldron. So, to be clear, 5 gemstones, each worth 500 gold.
Ooh,
Oh my!
wow.
That was quite generous.
The only problem I would have is I mean, this is not the kind of thing you can hand to a shopkeeper and ask for 495 gold back.
Yeah, I do understand that it is something that these are held in reserve, as of course as part of the town coffers for emergency expenses. But this is something that could be. Who knows how long this is going to go on, and if this magic just could keep it producing stew indefinitely.
Keep the hunger of the town at bay.
Then that's certainly of more value to us than these gemstones.
How about this? Keep the stone. I have no need of such wealth at this point. I just need a few pieces of equipment. If you could speak to a smith or someone and get me a few things that I need, that would be all the reward I need.
Marcher, if I may,
Yes.
you know that unless the equipment you're looking for is particularly expensive, we can just buy it.
Well, you can't buy it with a gemstone,
No, but you can buy it with coin.
right?
I do believe if we go to, say, Bryn Shander, we can, say, exchange the gems for coin. They might have someone with the appropriate wealth.
And if not there, I know people in Targos that can do it. Lickety split.
Okay.
He nods. Is that someone in one of the bigger, in Targos or Bryn Shander should be able to exchange them. Absolutely, that's something. Now, I will need 48 hours to procure the gems for you. I need to get them from. They're not here. They wouldn't be
Please
safe here.
take your
Obviously.
time. Take your time.
Yes, that is a reasonable thing. Yes.
Yes.
So, my request would be that we keep the cauldron here in the town hall while I procure the gemstones. Is that acceptable? We
That's
have
acceptable.
town militia that can guard them. I can show you where if you're interested.
I have no problem with leaving it here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. My goodness, what a find this is. And of course, I mean, we're heartbroken for the knuckleheads, but you have produced this. Wait. So, just so I'm clear, we've settled on you are taking the gemstones, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't want to presume. All right, so yes, I can arrange to have those, like I said, in 48 hours. But you have eliminated a threat to this community and found an incredible boon. I consider this a well-deserved reward, and you have done a great service for East Haven today.
One other thing. Would you have people that can tell the relatives of the knuckleheads? Because having strangers show up and talk about it might not be the best idea.
Oh, yes, we can definitely arrange that. I mean,
Thank you.
this is East Haven is, large by 10 town standards, but we know,
Yes.
we know them.
Thank you for that.
Yes, I had already let go of the idea that they might be found alive, and of course it's horrific to hear what happened to them, but I am cheered by knowing not only this threat has been eliminated, that we've found such a wonderful magical item, but also that we have good-hearted adventurers like yourselves here to help East Haven find its way. You have my thanks.
All right.
And
Very welcome.
I think we can arrange for you to stay in town. Of course, I don't think it's any question that we could arrange to have your rooms taken care of for the 48 hours until we have the gemstones. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That
Wonderful.
sounds like a good plan.
So excellent. Thank you so much. And I think at this point, Captain Argoloth says, "Did you think of a name?" I mean,
The
this is going to be a
Seekers.
story that people tell. The Seekers.
We are the seekers of the White Lady.
Her facial expression suddenly gets complicated when you say "of the White Lady," and she's like,
But seekers
great,
is good for
great.
short.
The Seekers.
Seekers.
Yes. Okay.
Seekers.
Seekers. So listen, between you and me, Seekers is very good. But the White Lady, I mean, like, the White Lady is like a folktale. Like, people say they've seen her, but I don't know. It strikes me as something that I find really like hard to believe, and to name your group name after it just feels weird. So
We all met at the seance.
well, okay.
So it's
you
a
know what?
personal history thing.
Well, so don't listen to me then. I'm coming with my own biases. Seekers is great. If you want it to be Seekers of the White Lady, that's what we'll say.
Let's just stick with Seekers and keep it easy.
Okay. When it
Um,
comes time to write down the legends, then this little detail will be something that someone who's really deep into the lore would find out.
It'll be in a
Yes.
footnote.
So,
Yeah.
as you are saying that, you kind of realize over the last like minute or so since you've been talking about that, you've actually felt a weird draft coming in from this door to the east here, like coming from under the door, like there's just really cold air blowing in from under there. And then you hear what sounds like cracking ice from on the other side of the door. And in particular, both Captain Imdra and like everyone else who's in here, like looks at that like, what? What is that?
And Wilfred will go over and, you know,
Oh, Wilford.
touch the door. You know, if it, you know, if see if it opens.
I mean, it does open. It's not locked or anything.
Yeah, and so swing it open and look.
Yeah,
This.
let me get the.
Well,
Right.
part of one of Wilfred's personality traits is cannot resist a good mystery.
Or a bad mystery.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a character like that in a previous campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did that
Had.
update your line of sight? Are you seeing into that room now or no?
No.
I'm not.
Like, that's weird because it has a thing that's specifically supposed to, like,
Remove doors.
yeah, but it's not. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
there we
fine.
go.
There
I
you
had,
go.
like,
Yeah.
just moving it was not enough. I had to delete it. But okay. So, but here's the thing. A couple of you had peeked into that room before,
Yeah.
but now there is the thing that I said, like, oh my gosh, why I wish I hadn't shown you that already. Now it does look like that. So now when you look in there, those of you who had not seen in there before see it now, and you so low burning lanterns cast a gentle glow upon a tall black object in the center of this room. Although one could easily mistake it for a statue, the object is actually the figurehead of a ship and is carved in the likeness of a winged demon. The demon-shaped figurehead stands 8 feet tall. Shards of wood jut out of the demon's back at the points where the figurehead once attached to the hull of a ship. And lashed to the figurehead with rope is a scrawny woman who is dripping wet. Her long white hair hangs over her face, obscuring it. And the whole room is swirling with this sort of icy, frigid wind that seems like it's coming from nowhere because there's no open doors or windows in this room.
What?
What?
And so, to be clear, on the map, this is like a stairway up to a balcony that's on the second level. So the balcony would run like, from there, the southern wall of the room. And then just around this corner, this is stairs going downward, and then the pillars in the room. But yeah, so you see that, and so you're peeking through, and you see that woman lashed to the statue in this weird wind.
Marcher looks to the speaker and says,
Yeah.
"You have a prisoner, I take it."
He was just saying, "Well, no, I know that the figurehead is alarming in appearance, but and then as he's kind of coming over to sort of look himself, he's like, "What?" He looks very surprised. Like he genuinely looks horrified at seeing the woman tied to it.
Can I walk in some? You know,
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Walk up to
do
it.
what you're gonna do. So yeah, as you let's see. Hang on. So you just walk right up to it. As you walk up to it, Wilfred, it lifts its head, and the wind suddenly picks up the hair to blow the hair back from the face, and it's a spare skull with a rictus grin. And we're rolling initiative.
Jesus.
Boy.
Yeah. So let's see. Hang on. Let's. Yeah. So this is. First, I think we're gonna get just. You know what? I think everybody was coming in. So, what we need is everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
22.
That's good.
4.
Uh-oh. Um,
9.
I got a
Okay.
3.
natural 1.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
it's a good thing Wilfred is a young man.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, let's see.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Wow. 4 of this party have failed the wisdom saving throw, and I think 3 of them by 5 or more, because Rowan also did. So
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So everyone who got below a 13 is currently frightened of this ghost. Who I think, those of you who were present at that seance, which is everybody, immediately feel this is the White Lady. And
Didn't
so
take long.
yeah,
that is-
Found her.
yeah. So
We can rename the group.
so I think I need. You know what? We'll handle this other bit later. But just anyone who got an 8 or lower than 8 on your wisdom saving throw, just remember that, and we'll have to deal with it afterwards.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
everyone
I
who
think
got
I-
lower than 13 is currently frightened as a condition of the ghost.
And that's disadvantage on attacks.
Yes, and you can't move
Can't
closer,
move closer.
to it while it's
Wow.
within line of sight. Everyone who succeeded is now immune to the horrifying visage. And let's see. And now the ropes have faded away, and we are gonna roll. And we've got our initiative that we're doing here. I will briefly say that we can say that the you could have had a short rest in between, if that makes a difference for people.
It does make a difference for me, so
Yeah.
It does make a difference for me as well.
Yeah, I thought it might.
Hey.
So go ahead and work that out, because you could have had that.
For the initiative
Mhm.
turn order, it doesn't show anything but the ghost for me.
Okay.
Yep, same here.
Okay. I mean, I see everybody there. I don't know why it wouldn't show.
yeah, all I see is the ghost as well.
I hate everything. Okay, I'm gonna delete everyone and re-add them, because I guess. I don't know why that would be. I'll let you know. Like, I don't know why it just randomly sometimes doesn't. Do you see? Are you seeing yourself now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then. All right, so everyone get their initiative on there, and have you finished doing whatever you would do for a short rest?
Yep.
All right. And everyone's got their initiative on there? Okay. Ale, what is your dex?
My dex is 10.
10. Okay, so you get to go before the White Lady does. But Iggy, you are up first, but you are also frightened, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you doing?
Frightened just means I have disadvantage on
On attacks and...
attacks, and I can't get close to her.
Yeah.
Okay, and Wilfred is between me and her.
What is it that you want to do? We can work
I
it
want
out.
to. I want to fire Eldritch Blast at her, but
Yes, you can do that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
okay,
But it's at disadvantage.
okay.
Yeah.
So 13.
A 13 hits.
Okay, so 6 points of damage.
All right. You do that. Now you can also repeat the wisdom saving throw.
Okay. And hold on, I got to get back to the. Oh God, why did I close out of that? There's Zig. All right, wisdom save.
Yep.
6.
Okay. Yep,
So
you are
twice
still
below
frightened.
8.
No, that only happens the first time. You just
Okay.
you haven't shaken off the fear yet. Ale, your turn.
Okay, I will pull out my sword and shield, but I can't get any closer, but I can still try to attack from where I am. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to try to do at disadvantage.
Yeah.
A 16 is the disadvantage. roll.
That hits.
All right. So that's D8 plus 3. So that is 10 points of damage.
You do hit, but its slightly ethereal nature leads you to believe that it only takes half of the damage that it would otherwise.
Yeah. And now I get to try to roll the wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
And that is an 11.
Not a success.
Not a success, so I'm still frightened.
Correct. And in fact, it is now going to reach out at you because it is its turn with a withering touch.
Oh,
Oh, and it gets 24 to hit.
that will hit me.
Yeah. And it got minimum damage. Wait, no,
Yay!
that can't be right. No. Wait a minute. No. What did it just do? Sorry, it didn't. It rolled. No, it rolled the attack roll again and not the damage. Okay, 13 necrotic damage,
Holy carp.
which frankly is not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, but it's still undead hit really, really hard.
Yeah, it's bad. And in fact, actually,
I should
you know what? I take it back. That's not what it does. Undo that damage. No, never mind. I won't undo it. Just that's done. We'll move forward.
What I should have done, too late now, I should have divine smited the thing, but
Well, it should have done something else too. It's fine. We're moving on.
yeah.
Marcher, you're up.
I am tempted to back out of the room, saying that we are very, very sorry for having desecrated, angered her by taking her name the way we did, and please don't kill us, because that's how you deal with ghosts where he comes from. Are you guys as players going to get angry with me if I do that?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Nope. Totally.
Yes.
Legit.
That's then that.
Also, are you actually frightened as well? Or
I am okay as a player. I know how nasty ghosts can be. So I know that it would be a really tough
Well,
fight. and
so
probably-
if you want to
But-
say something to her,
yes,
you can make a persuasion roll, but you will be making it at disadvantage if you're frightened.
I am not frightened.
Okay.
So,
So tell me what you say to her, and then make a persuasion roll.
Great Spirit, we did not know that you would be angry with us for taking your name. We will strike that from our minds. Please do not be angry with us. And he'll take a step back and bow to her
Okay.
that's 6 seconds worth as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make your persuasion roll.
Fingers crossed. 13.
13. I think you see she doesn't dissipate or anything, but there's a little bit of a hesitation there.
Okay.
Like you see her react. She clearly heard you.
Okay. And he'll gesture to the others to to similar.
Right. Okay. That was Marcher. Dockstrider, your turn.
Yes, Dockstrider, seeing that there was some, you know, some seeming movement there, uh, will actually literally get down on one knee
Mm-hmm.
and say, "White lady, we heard your call in the seance. We're trying to do what's right for you. We're trying to help you get the things done that you were not able to do in life. Please just tell us and leave us be."
All right. Make a persuasion check.
Okay, at
If
disadvantage
well,
since
yeah, if
I'm
you're
a
frightened,
fear.
yeah.
That would be. I rolled
You know
a
what?
22. I
Oh,
rolled a 22 and a 23.
wow. All right. Um, I was actually going to cancel your disadvantage on the basis that following up on Marchers, I was going to say that would have been advantage, and so cancel the
Huh.
disadvantage. But you rolled pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you see her sort of hostile, like skull rictus sort of shift a little bit, and you see a little bit more just like a woman's face there, and it's clearly like her facial expression is still like angry and kind of in a snarl, but she definitely appears a lot more human.
Okay.
She's
And
still spectral, but not in this like horrifying way anymore.
I got a. Do I have disad on saves too, or no?
um no, I don't
No.
think so.
No.
Okay. So I got a 17 on my wisdom save.
Okay, yeah, so you have thrown off the fear effect.
Thank God.
And in fact, I think once that visage fades, everyone else that was afraid is no longer, like, the fear ends when she is. Because it's coming from the horrifying visage, which she has pulled back. Okay, this would be Rowan's turn, but I think he's going to follow everyone else's lead. Wilfred, what would you do?
Uh, I'm sorry. I won't bother you again, and you know, move out because that was freaky.
Yeah, does not take an opportunity attack against you.
And
Are,
look at the say. Might want to be careful about going in there again. And then yeah.
all right. Iggy, what are you doing?
Iggy will bow from the waist and say, "I apologize for my attack on you. I hope that you will allow us to leave peacefully. We didn't intend to bring you harm."
All right. Okay, and then Ale, what are you doing?
I'm going to bow, say my attack was wrong. I regret my actions. And I will back up 1 square.
All right. She is looking like she still looks angry, but she looks angry like a normal human woman would be angry, and not like an exaggerated skeletal ghostly figure. She's still spectral, she's still floating, and her hair is moving like it would underwater. And she looks at all of you and says, "The halfling is wrong to demand my knowledge. You all participated. Then you invoke my name without requesting permission. But your apologies land well if you would seek those who perpetrate injustice, and let that be who you are. And then she, the wind kind of starts to swirl up, and it starts swirling up like it's water, creating some sort of a water spout. And then just like with a crash of water, like a wave breaking against this figurehead, she's gone, and the water is gone, and there's no more wind, and everything is stopped.
Yay.
Well,
Well,
Good call, Marcher.
Good call, Marcher.
Marcher strides back into the office room and goes over to Speaker Whalen.
He,
Ghosts reenact events in their lives. There is a ship prow in that room, and she first appeared tied to it. Why is there a ship prow in that room, and who has been tied to it?
I need a moment, because that was a lot, but I didn't know anything about the ghost in terms of its association, but I knew that thing was bad news. Essentially, what happened is that there were some adventurers a while back that were looking for other types of treasure, and they dredged that thing up off the bottom of the lake. And I'm not any expert in magic, but I mean, I don't know if any of you looked closely at it other than just its physical appearance, but it just it just feels evil to me. And so
Ah.
I didn't know what else to do. The adventurers frankly didn't want to keep carrying it around. And so I bought it on the basis of keeping it out of anybody else's hands, but I didn't know what else to do with it. So I've been keeping it here just to keep it away from anyone. I tell people not to touch it. I mean, frankly, if any of you know what to do with it that would be better, I would absolutely appreciate any suggestions.
You
Now,
have
the ghost is the
bonfires
first
on a
time
regular basis. Last I saw,
I would
you didn't
destroy
think
it.
of just tossing it onto a fire.
It's made of stone or some kind
Oh.
of crystal.
Oh, I thought it was.
No,
I thought it was
it's
wood. Okay.
no, it's this enormous like black obsidian crystal looking thing.
have you tried taking hammers to it? Of
I haven't, but that's the thing. Is like I'm scared to even touch it. Like I feel like it looks scary, but you even just you even get near it, it just feels like it's just going to reach into your mind and do something to you.
Okay.
Or
well,
invoke a ghost.
Well,
Well,
that's
well-
new. That hasn't happened before, but today is a day for all sorts of surprises, apparently. I mean,
Yeah. Well, we can look into it and see if we can figure out a way to destroy it, get rid of whatever evil is haunting it,
Reconsecrate it.
yeah.
do something. We can take that as a long-term project and try to work out.
Yeah,
Add
so
it to our
do
list.
any of you actually go and take a look at it?
Well,
That spell you used on the cauldron, would that help give us any information about it here?
I might. I'd just have to spend a little time with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Wilfred would, at some point, basically, hold up his warhammer and look to, Ale and Doc Strider and see, like,
Yeah.
should I try?
I think it will. I think it would not be effective and might bring back.
Yeah, I
He
wouldn't do it
shall
yet.
not be named.
Let us have we will be here while he gets our payment. We'll be here for a little while. Let us come back tomorrow. And
Did you not say something, Captain, about magic items from the wizard?
Oh, yes, I can certainly get those for you right now. I see no reasons. You certainly completed the task. So she goes upstairs and comes back shortly with two things. She gives you a spell scroll of Fireball.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
So only anyone who can cast spells and has Fireball on the spell list could cast it. But I think that would be Marcher at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
who else, but yeah. So a spell scroll of Fireball, and also it's a strange little like bag. And let me see if there's like a handout for it. I think there might be. Um, yeah. It's a bag of tricks.
Oh boy.
Specifically, it is a gray bag of tricks. So what you see is it's this weird little satchel that has these weird little sort of fuzzy like balls in it, but it's clearly sort of obviously magical. And if Doc Strider were to identify it, yeah, it's a bag of tricks, which means that does not require any attunement or anything, but you can use an action to pull one of these things from the bag and throw it, and it turns into an animal, which will, I think it's friendly and it just like fights along your side or does whatever you tell it to do. And so that's what she has from that they took from the other wizard. What I'll tell you just from you looking over it is that it's the looking at the figurehead, that is.
That would be useful for any of us.
Yeah, like so yeah, anyone could use that. Um, so is anyone doing any more examination of the figurehead now, or you're going to come back from
Yes,
that?
I'd like to just walk in and cast detect magic.
Okay. It is definitely magic.
Okay, so time to do that ritual identify.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of us will be keeping guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is that uh, Aule, if you were to use your divine sense on it, which I'll go ahead and just sort of prompt you to do,
Yes.
on
Hint,
the
hint.
base, yeah, on the basis that like what Waylon said is that like it feels like it just radiates evil. And so you will certainly, using your divine sense, it is indeed desecrated, meaning it is just imbued with demonic magic.
It is not only evil, it is a demonic evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
So-
hammer friend Wilfred would not do nothing to it.
Right. So what your identify tells you, Doc Schreider, is that it's not like a quote unquote magic item in the way we might normally use that term, but it is an item which contains a lot of magical energy.
Okay.
And in fact, what you realize is that this crystalline material that it's made from is something called chardolin, which is there's some knowledge that this is a crystal. You need to make a history check to know anything more about it.
I will do that thing.
But you can tell that it is a crystal that is basically capable of being imbued with different kinds of magic. If Ale lets you know that this one is demonic magic, you could certainly know, yes, it is a
Yeah.
demonic. That could be true. But chardolin itself theoretically could be imbued with any kind of magic.
Okay, so does 21 on a history check net me anything else?
Yeah, it does. You recognize that this is, in fact, it is a depiction of Urtu, which is a Balor demon that terrorized Icewind Dale of over a century ago.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, what you also learn about chardolin, hang on, let me, that's a pretty good roll, so I think I can give you some of that. Shoot, where does it talk about that in more detail? I'm gonna, here, let's see. Okay, Ah, there we go, with Charlton. And so, what you learn about that is that about 100 years ago, there was a wizard named Akar Kessel who found an artifact suffused with demonic magic. And it was this thing was an enormous artifact, um, and it became known as the Crystal Shard. And he used it to create a gigantic black tower in Icewind Dale. And so eventually, when that guy, who was a bad guy, was defeated, his tower exploded, and the magic used to create it fused with the ice in various places to create what is known as Chardolin. So basically, fragments of the magic left over from that exploded tower fusing with ice meant that there's like deposits and shrapnel of it all over the place in Icewind Dale. And it is inherently it is non-magical. It is a crystalline as strong as metal, but a little bit easier to work with than steel. But the thing about Chardolin is that even though like it's not inherently magical, it can be imbued with other kinds of magic and becomes kind of almost like a battery for magical energy.
And we know that this is like demonic evil magic.
This
that
one is
thing
for
It's
sure, yeah.
absorbed. Yeah.
built up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll info dump the rest of the
Yeah,
team on
and
that.
so based on combination of your examination and Ale's, instinctive there, that like Waylon was absolutely right. No one should even touch this thing.
Yeah.
It is literally dangerous just even to touch.
Mom, Dad, it's evil. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
I I know there are effects that can dispel other magical effects. Would that have any? Do you think that would have any canceling of what is stored here?
This is very powerful magic. It would take very powerful magic
To dispel it in turn.
to dispel it.
Yeah. Let me. I'm putting this the Chardolin entry in your journal, James. And then this handout is this art is of the original artifact. So like obviously you're not looking at this thing, but like that was the originally found material that was made into the tower, etc. But yeah, so so that's what you know about this thing.
I think that given everything that we have seen, keeping it here was the right decision.
Yeah.
Fortunately so.
The other option would be to drag it back out into the lake and dump it back in.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch this thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, they should
Well, even if-
they should wall and enclose it entirely so that no one can actually bump into it.
So the
until
other
it can
thing
be dealt with.
Yeah, so the other thing you certainly would have realized is that like the Chardolin material, like this thing could be smashed apart, like and broken up into pieces. And that would make it like easier to manage at least, but it would also each of those pieces would be just as charged with the magic.
Yeah, it would just make it the evil would just be spread over a larger area.
Yeah. Although it's possible that it would the demonic energy would leach out of it faster if it was not literally shaped in the shape of a demon.
Yeah. What was the demon's name again?
Ertu, Errtu.
Okay.
So, Marcia goes back in. We have learned a few things about this. It is as dangerous as you expected it was, and it was insightful of you to isolate it this way. It needs to be isolated more.
Yeah, he's looking at Captain Imdra, and they're kind of nodding at each other, like, Yep. I mean, we were, sounds like it was the right call. Do you have any suggestions?
The first thing that came to my mind was to wrap ropes around it and dump it back into the lake where it was found in the first place.
Well, I certainly, if that can be managed, that's potentially, doable. Is that just going to, um,
It delays the problem for someone else who fishes it out 10, 50, 100, 1,000 years from now.
Hmm. Does it hurt the lake or make the lake evil?
Did the lake become less evil when the adventurers fished it out?
I mean, I didn't really know them, so if it had any effect on them, I'm not. I didn't know them before. They
So,
did seem rather mercenary about the whole thing, but
No.
they were also keen to get rid of it.
I have no advice. It is, but
Yeah.
it might be a good idea not to mention a certain historical figure in its presence.
Indeed. If you're not going to dump it into the lake, then leave it to a problem for another generation. I would build a wall or barrier around it so that no one can to touch it until such time as as the evil demonic magic within it can be dispelled.
Well, now that you've confirmed my suspicion, I think that's at least appropriate. If you don't think we should move it, then we can definitely do that. We can wall it up.
Dumping in the
Yeah.
lake leaves the problem for another.
Yeah.
It leaves the evil in the world that is not to be dealt with for another generation. I cannot see that as a good thing.
So we actually have some cells, like prison cells, in a level down. If we could move it there, that might be an easier place to have it even further out of the way.
Put in prison, yeah. Put it in prison and keep it there until such time as us or others can reconsecrate the unholy demonic power within it.
See, the thing is, the adventurers that brought it had some sort of a ring that let them just move it magically.
Ah, a ring of telekinesis. We would have to have we would have to figure out some kind of rope harness that would allow us to move it.
And even then, it would be risking the people who are tying it up. Yeah, I leave this to your discretion.
Well, you've already done so
But-
much for East Haven today. I certainly think you have all earned a good night's rest and, of course,
Yes.
the gemstones we have coming to you.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Good day to you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back to the inn.
Yep.
I think that's probably a good point to go ahead and finish for today.
Well, I believe there was a secondary effect of horrifying visage.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So for those of you who failed the wisdom saving throw by 5 or more, which means you got less than 8, I want each of you to roll a 1d4. That would include Rowan, but I'm not going to make Rowan do that without being here.
I
Okay.
rolled a 2.
Yep, I did too.
All right, so both of you, let me just confirm that I am remembering correctly what the what that does. Where is this? Yeah, so I believe both of you find. Why does it do that? I keep clicking on things and it doesn't open them properly. Here we go. Yeah, so you are going to find yourselves aged 20 years.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I'm a half elf.
I'm glad I'm an Asimar.
Now, I think You know, based on that, I think now that everything's calmed down, you know that a little bit, like there's a little bit more of an understanding, and I'll go ahead and let you know um, that the those of you with any kind of expertise in this know that a greater restoration spell could undo that, but only within 24 hours.
Oh yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we'll just go down to the store and get us one of those.
Yeah.
What would be the
Let me just
I-
double check because there's let me. Where is that?
how would you know if I know if you know, like if my character, if Wilfred would know?
You know what, I will say that that Captain Argoloth had heard that, but I'm looking actually for the where it what it says, because there's you can potentially get magic. Let's see, cast. Because there are some casts, some. Uh, let's see. Um, Let's see. Yeah, I think. Let me just double check one character. I think there might be one character in 10 Towns that could cast that.
Well, yeah.
Uh, uh, nope. I'm afraid not.
Yep.
So
I'm not.
here's the thing though, um, because I don't want to necessarily force things on you guys. If you're uncomfortable with that aspect of the effect on your character, we can talk about that.
Well, how about instead of the kind of chronological aging thing, how about the kind of fright effects, legendary fright effects like hair turning white and things like that?
Yeah. So certainly there wasn't going to be any sort of a mechanical impact necessarily, but I'll it, you know what, and also because we're finishing this session, I'll let you think about it.
Okay.
So I would say that's not something I'm going to force on your character, unless you think it's actually kind of cool to think about.
So it's like you know, it, we appear older and then like fades by morning.
Well, I mean, if that's what you want, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would, yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think especially we can swing that because of course you essentially got the ghost's like forgiveness, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll be back for more Rime of the Frostmaiden next
With the
week.
Seekers.
Yes, the Seekers. Yes.
So
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
That's I hope everyone had fun. Thank you everyone
Yep.
for listening and or watching. We'll be back next week, so try to stay warm.
Yes.